What is up, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show where you can read the host's mind.
See? I told you. Wow. Dex is such a handsome man, and I'm nowhere near as smart as he is. Dex is so talented, and he's good with computers, too. I wonder if he can read my thoughts. I hope they don't find out I still wet the bed.
We will be right back with the news. Dex, that was not part of the script. All right. What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only call-in show on YouTube. Well, not really. But what I can tell you is we are going to go over some crazy news. Europe is actually in potential worry of this volcano in Askja. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Askja, Iceland. If this volcano goes off, it would cover Europe with an ash cloud, similar to, I guess, what would happen over here. Dex, I wanted to get over to you and do a sound check real quick, and also to ask you, what would be the equivalent? I mean, is this like our Yellowstone over there, or is this isn't that big, is it?
Hey, Adam, I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam. And yeah, I think this would probably be somewhere in between, like Mount St. Helens and a Yellowstone. I don't think it'll be as big as Yellowstone, because Yellowstone, if that goes off, it's supposed to be across the globe. But this is a big deal.
Because the whole thing is with the volcanoes, it's not so much the direct damage around them, unless it's in a metropolis. It's the cloud that goes up into the atmosphere and then goes around. Now, if Yellowstone happened, that would send a cloud around the Earth, and it could possibly put us into a darkness, which is what everybody worries about with that, because nobody knows when the thing's going to blow. It's the size of 3 states. It's a big, big volcano. As far as this one, I've never even heard of this before this, and it's got swarms going. We're going to talk about NASA. We're going to talk about that thermonuclear blast that was detected in space, which this is the craziest thing. If we are doing the math right, that means 11,000 years ago this thing happened, and just now we are getting the X-rays from it. It was, 11 or 1,100 times stronger than our sun? Was it 11 times stronger than all the power in our sun could do in a day, and that just hit us now? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The power of the explosion was 11 days worth of energy that our sun would put off.
So, that's extremely powerful, and they say that it instead of making a black hole, it went outwards, which, the whole science behind that is just so crazy. If a sun blows up and it's big enough, then it turns into a black hole, which then black holes people think are portals. It's so confusing. And then we were talking about how all of this is on a linear plane, even though space is wide and varying. One thing that recently, I didn't even know this, that everything's on a flat line. We'll talk about that later. I know that sounds crazy, but they all spin, but they're all in this weird, flat plane of existence. I guess I never knew that. I guess I didn't pay attention in school. They all rotate around the sun at the same level, right? Isn't that weird to anybody? They're not like one's going like this, one's going like this. They're all going around in the same direction. That just kind of it made my brain explode. We're going to be talking about the volcanoes, the fireball over Missouri. We got plenty of people that ended up calling in, emailing, telling us about that. So many people heard just a ginormous explosion. Some of them, even one of them was an explosives expert, and he says he's never heard anything like that. Facebook, we're going to talk about that briefly. Of course, we did a main video on Marfoogle News, the main channel, about that. The camera's going. Nobody's surprised by that, which is kind of funny. We knew that people would be like, yeah, we already know. Someone commented on that, said that you can turn that feature off. It's not a feature, it's a bug. They said it was a bug. I do not think it's a feature. It's actually the camera working while you're scrolling through the feed. So if you're looking at your friends, eating Thai restaurant or, eating some sort of fancy Irish dish, it's actually got your camera on in and behind everything you are doing. And then when you close out, you can't see it that it's on. So that's like purposely hiding the fact that the camera's on. So again, and that one immediately got dinged. If you noticed, we changed the title several times because we figured, these guys are all kind of in cahoots. We're going to talk about Hong Kong. We're going to talk about the warships going through Taiwan. So all of that is going to hit up. Again, if you want to go to our website, marfooglenews.com. I'll just show you real quick. Extremely easy to follow along with this show, or even if you are going a month later, as you will see on our website, you will see this thumbnail. Very easy to kind of see this. Click it, and then down below you will see every single article for this show, for today's news, is already loaded up here, including the weird stories. It's all right here. Even if we show a tweet that is going around, we end up including that on our website, marfooglenews.com. Now, again, you can go there a month later and actually, watch this a year from now, and it will be archived. You can follow along on a second device. Now, Dex is here. We've already done our sound check. Dex is live with me. It is now 9:55 p.m. Pacific time, 12:55 Eastern. That means when you guys call in at 224-400-MARF, Dex will be screening the calls, and he can also load things up like documents. Someone one time actually loaded up a government document. We were able to review it live, and the caller got it to me right away. If you want us to check out a YouTube video or a story or an article, you can do all that, and I can load it up. We have a live connection. So stick around. If you've never been here before, we're going to cover the news, then we're going to get to the call-ins, and then we're going to get into, of course, the shout show. Now, this is crazy. This is just a mind-blowing thing, in my opinion. NASA scientists detect huge thermonuclear blast deep in space. Now, I've been saying a lot of stuff as far as space and the nuclear devices going up there, and I just have to repeat, they just signed something in our government before we were not able to take nuclear devices up to space. They just signed something in. Do you remember that, Dex? Was it a bill or was it a law or something? Because it's international, right? That they're able to take nuclear devices up to space.
Right, is probably part of an international treaty, right?
That's what I was trying to look for the word. The treaty allows them to bring nuclear devices up. It doesn't really exactly specify what those are. We, of course, had the beginning of the Space Force, which we've talked about. There's all these missions surrounding asteroid detection and asteroid deterrence. Like Hammer. We showed you all these guys on our main channel as well, if you guys want to go into that. And then all of a sudden they actually detect a thermonuclear blast deep in space. My first thought was, what if they actually sent out a missile, years ago and blasted a new super, super big nuclear device out in space to test it? I mean, if they could, shoot it out there, blast it, it wouldn't hurt anything, right? Or my thought was, what if there was an asteroid that they were testing it on? What if they already have been doing tests on nuking these asteroids? Would they tell us about each one? I don't think so. I don't know, because they would be sending nukes off into space and people would probably be worried. I mean, if you think about it, we've had several spaceships, just regular spaceships, like some of the Apollos, that have just went... So if you think about it, I think it will be a big deal when they start actually doing the hammers, hypervelocity asteroid mitigation and emergency response vehicles. These things are basically rockets with nukes on top. And when they start shooting those up, it's going to be a big deal, because if there's any kind of error, any kind of mistake, that thing, say, does what was it, the Columbia? Boom, explosion, everything else. And that's what these things are designed to do. They're designed kinetic energy-wise to blow up and to hit the asteroid so hard that it puts it off course. So I thought that, possibly this, whatever else, but they say this was 11,000 light years away. Now, a light year is, of course, the time it takes light to travel in a year. So if it's 11,000 light years away, that means, which is crazy to think about, this happened 11,000 years ago, before, modern civilization. And in fact, did you ever look up to like where humans were at during, 11,000 years ago? I mean, it was BC, obviously, 9,000 BC. I wonder, is that an era? I'm not too good at the general of that. Do you know, Dex?
Yeah, I don't know that era, but and it depends on which science and beliefs you use when you're looking that up.
So regardless of when it was a long time ago. And then that had me and Dex talking about the fact that this happened and it's basically on a flat line. It's so weird that everything in space is on this like one line. Even asteroids, apparently. This is confusing the hell out of me. And then everything we do is three-dimensional, but yet space is all just this one big flat thing. How would you explain that, Dex? How did you kind of made it sound a little bit easier to understand?
Well, yeah, we were talking about it. It was sort of like, hey, you take the galaxy, the Milky Way, as they've described it to us, and it's on this flat plane. Everything is flat. Everything's going around in a spiral type rotation. The universe itself, I guess, has been described in three different ways. It's been described as a ball or in a connected sphere from one end to the other, but ever growing, or a flat line and ever growing, or an inversion of that connected round thing. But at the end of the day, when we look at stuff like the rotation of the planets and the way they're described just in our own solar system, everything's on sort of a flat plane. So that's what we were talking about.
We were talking about, we understand why people doubt that we are on a spinning ball in space, because man, when you think of some of the littler parts in it, it's so confusing. Some of it is just like way beyond where our human brains can even handle. And then I think you made a comment that was like, maybe they just feed us with so many confusing things that we never know the truth. Either way,
they just make up all of this crazy science just so that we can, we won't understand it anyway, right? Keep us dumb.
Exactly. It says the culprit seems to be a distant pulsar, the space agency reports, which is the stellar remains of a star that blew up in a supernova but was too small to form a black hole. NASA spotted the burst because it sent out an intense beam of X-rays that got picked up by the agency's orbital observatory, NICER. It says, all in all, it serves as a potent reminder space is extremely dangerous, extremely metal place. So that is pretty crazy. There's again, you can go to the link on this. You can watch the video. It shows you a kind of a video diagram of how this happened. It says the August explosion released in 20 seconds the same amount of energy our sun would need 10 days to unleash, according to research published in the Astrophysical journal Letters last month. Said, quote, "This burst was outstanding," NASA astrophysicist Peter Bolt, who led the research, said in NASA's statement. So that the one point that I was trying to point out, though, too, is that with this, what if that was potentially, what I was talking with you about is there's a math equation there, right? They say it's 11,000 light years away because of how much X-rays they got. What if they were even told, oh, well, it's 11,000 years away, but really it was something that we just shot right outside in space, and the amount of X-rays they got from a much smaller explosion, they thought, oh, since it's that far, it would have to be this powerful to make it this far and still be that strong. Maybe there was some sort of math equation that would do that. What if it was much closer? What if it was something the Space Force is doing in reality much closer? And, if you guys have any ideas on that, give us a call at 224-400-MARF. I just thought it was pretty interesting. Now, this is crazy. U.S. warship sails through Taiwan Strait for the first time since September. The only reason it is because there are plenty of people in our military group saying that Taiwan is doing all sorts of weird and creepy things, including, now you've got the Russians doing all sorts of things with their internet. You've got them disconnecting their internet, testing their internet, and then their spy ships were right next to us. And apparently they there's all sorts of things going on here. It says the U.S. Chancellorsville, a guided missile cruiser, has transited the Taiwan Strait because China and the island of Taiwan. It says Commander Rian Momsen, spokesman of the U.S. 7th Fleet, said that the U.S. guided missile cruiser USS Chancellorsville conducted a routine Taiwan Strait transit in accordance with international law. It says, quote, "The ship's transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The U.S. Navy will continue to fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows," he added. Quote, "All interactions between Chinese ships and aircraft were professional and routine during the transit," a Navy official told Fox News. The Taiwan Strait transit was the 9th by the U.S. Navy this year. The last one occurred in late September when the USS Antietam, another guided missile cruiser, conducted a similar transit. So they are, trying to basically show that this is going to be an open way. You cannot stop it from being an open way. Obviously, this causes many tensions there. You've got tear gas and fires. Hong Kong's protests from morning to night. Protesters in Hong Kong battled police on multiple fronts Tuesday, from major disruptions during a morning rush hour to a late-night standoff with a prominent university, as the 5-month-old anti-government movement takes an increasingly violent turn. So this is the country kind of being, turned up on its head for 5 straight months. And at any time, this could get much, much worse. I mean, this isn't even everybody participating. If it really got to the point where, everybody went all out, this would be kind of a conflict within their own country. And who knows, somebody might have to step in. Gasoline booms and fires lit up the night at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, while police massed for a possible clearing action with a water cannon truck. So this has been like nonstop every single day, and not, even AP, this is Associated Press, they have not covered some of the real stuff. We know because we're getting emails from these folks that say it's extremely violent, and at any moment nobody knows there how bad it's going to get. It's kind of this huge group, and there's no one or two leaders. Most of the leaders, as we've covered before, have either been jailed, picked out, individualized, and kind of taken away from their position of power. Any protester that gets kind of too high up in the ranks, they kind of take them out. And we've seen it time and time again. A bunch of names keeps rising to some of the websites that they talk about on, and how they're organizing and things like this, and then they get arrested. In fact, the police actually pick out the leaders and try to get them first. Now, I guess, this is from somebody who was actually from Hong Kong, emailed me and said that some of the leaders have not only been wearing masks, but they've been actually at the very back at all the crowds, and then they have a couple hundred people that know who they are, and they keep them separate from everybody else. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, these guys are like commanders, basically. There's all sorts of tensions around the entire earth. We like to sit here in the United States and think, everything is cush and we're a first world, this and that. But man, around the world, there are so many issues happening right now. And that's why we try to tell you what is going on. Abu al-Attah assassination. We are going to conflict, says Islamic leader. Now, you guys can read that for yourself. Obviously, this guy being assassinated was a big deal. It says IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Kochavi said that while the military was not interested in a conflict in the coastal enclave, the IDF was preparing for an escalation of violence that it would return to a policy of targeted killings if necessary. Quote, we are not interested in an escalation, but we are ready on the ground, in the air, and at sea. The military said that all of the airstrikes in the first wave targeted PIG underground facilities used for storage and manufacturing of weapons and training camps. These sites were critical facilities for the group invested large sums of money to construct. So they took those out. We're following this. So Dex, this is actually a bigger deal than most are reporting, correct?
Well, yes, Adam, this is a big deal. I mean, it's causing a lot of rocket fire and retaliation to this killing. So we're seeing, yesterday we saw just a ton of rocket fire back, and then we're expecting they closed schools over there. They shut a lot of things down because of the attacks, and we're expecting to see more as the days progress. So things are kind of escalating there. It's just, it's happening around the world with lots of things. I mean, even as you mentioned earlier with what's going on in Hong Kong, I mean, that's been ongoing for a while, but this is reaching a new heightened level after they already sort of got what they wanted, but now it's been escalated. We're seeing escalations in, in Royale, and with what's going on here. So, I mean, lots of things just amping up. And of course, we've got discourse in many different countries just with the social and economic things that are going on. So,
well, these are serious names being put in the hat for getting knocked off. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to be following it. Obviously, a lot of people are watching this, very concerned. We try to keep it as positive as possible. Somebody said that earlier that the intro was just dumb, or these skits are dumb. And, I'm not offended by that. The whole reason for this is we want to be as positive as possible, put a smile on your face, at the same time as telling you that our world is basically screwed. That's what most of us feel right now. And I know I've talked to so many of you, and we all feel like, the honest opinion of most is that we're in end times. And that sounds like crazy. I would really like to smash the taboo of saying you believe it's end times. A lot of people are embarrassed to say that they believe that. Look at what we are dealing with in society right now. Things are normalized that are absolute. Doesn't matter what religion you come from, they're just not okay. Things are being normalized that just aren't right. And seriously, I mean, we're talking about several things that are just incredibly disgusting. But that's a topic for probably another channel. Let's see here. Let's see. I was going to try to pull something up here. Wow, that's this. Bam. All right. Up next, Provocative Atlantic asks how civil conflict can be avoided. And by conflict, I of course mean war. This word, along with a lot of others, is already a bad word in this platform. Coming December 10th, a lot of people are actually scared of what is to come. Some say that there are some lines in the new terms of service that are going to be really bad. We just don't know what's going to happen. So again, we're going to try to expand our channels. It says how to stop a civil war. It says Atlantic Magazine was founded in the years leading up to a civil war. So it's worth nothing when it produces a special new issue on the theme, how to stop a civil war. The issue went to newsstands and its articles were posted online Tuesday, the day before the House begins public impeachment hearings on President DT. It says timing both fortuitous and coincidental. I don't know about that. It seemed fairly obvious that a magazine of the American idea should look hard at the question of whether a country is coming apart, said Jeffrey Goldberg. It says he is not comparing the current era to November of 1857 when the first Atlantic issue was published, but it does feel that something has come off the rails a little bit. Among the pieces in the new issue are Yoni Applebaum's look at the impact of demographic changes, where non-whites will soon become a majority. Jonathan Haidt and Tobias Rose Stockwell's report on the destabilization effect on social media, and Jonathan Rauch and Ray LaJaraha's examination of a political system that increasingly punishes moderate viewpoints. It says, quote, we have political and media and technological systems that reward extremism. Trump is a symptom of what has been happening to the country, not the cause, the editor said. Lest the issue seem unrelentingly negative, it also contains a wistful piece by author Tom Junod on how Mr. Rogers might react into the current times. And playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda explores the impact of art in a troubled era. So again, what do you think of this, Dex? When you saw this, you know, first off, go ahead.
Yeah. I look at it and see that we're continuing to pound the mainstream around this narrative of civil W/conflict, right? And that's troubling. We saw it come out of, the commander-in-chief's his mouth in some tweets. We've seen it, being brought up in other mainstream articles, and now we're seeing it again, coming out really prevalent in a really large magazine as the Atlantic, which I think a lot of people may think comes from a specific deep state-ish type area. So anyway. I think that, the one thing we have to look at is, are they really trying to push us into this? And is this message really trying to continue to further the divide? And do we need to be aware of that and try to prevent that from happening? And what can we do to prevent that from happening?
Well, as far as, civil unrest, I mean, here's the thing. I would love to get a number in the chat because it's going to pull up right here, even for the replays. And I'm only going to give you two choices. Do you think, actually, this is a hard one to give two choices on. If DT gets reelected, press 1 if you think that would bring us, if that would tear apart the country further than it did when he first got elected. Do you think that the one side will just completely flip out? Like literally lose it. Another 4 years. Press 1 if you think that. 2 if you think that he will lose and somebody else will replace him. And 3 if you think it won't affect anything if he gets reelected. So basically, only one option. Number 2, he doesn't get elected, and that won't happen. Or do people think that he would get, if he doesn't get elected and somebody else does, do you think that would start it? I guess that should be a number 4. I think it's actually quite crazy. When you think about it, look at how people reacted the first time. Can you imagine if they found out another 4 years? I think people would literally lose it. And I'm talking about lose it. We've stayed very down the middle on both of these sides. We have supporters in here. We have haters in here as far as T-Man goes. But, honestly, I don't know what to say about it, because I think that we are very close. We're on the teetering seesaw of all of this drama that's going on. All right, let me see here. Just wanted to make I was going to post out and have you guys react to it here.
I like number 4, Adam, which you really didn't do, but I think that's where I would fall.
You think that they would flip out if he doesn't get elected?
Yeah, and I think the aftermath of that is where not they, but I think we, or some portion of this half of the divide, would flip out if he doesn't. And I think that will be a strong push.
See, all of this is, a lot of people are talking about this in the higher ranks in the government. We had several comments from Congress essentially saying that if he doesn't win, that we're going to have a huge deal. And then there was a couple that said, if he does, they're going to basically go to the grave getting him out of there. And then, this whole impeachment thing, it's all nuts. This we covered on our main channel. Facebook is secretly using your iPhone's camera as you scroll your feed. Again, basically, there's not much to show here. If you want to go better into detail, you can actually go to our website. You can actually go down to this video on here. If you click on TV, you can go, on news, and right there, it's the weird picture with me with the cell phone camera. If you see this one, it says your camera is watching you. That is the one you want to click if you want to go in. We go more into detail about it. I think it's very disturbing that it took this long to kind of catch them doing it. They say it's a bug. My personal opinion is that, it's been doing that the whole time. As I was talking to Dex before the show, we were talking about the Milky Way and flat, and a Google story came up on my feed, and I sent him a picture of it. I mean, it was exactly what we were talking about, and it's just, there's no way they could have picked that up even with an algorithm. So I think people are starting to realize, I think they use that as an excuse, like, oh, our algorithm's so good. And then they started that as a rumor. So people thought, oh, well, it's just an algorithm. The algorithms know us so good. No, I think they're physically looking, or the algorithms are looking at what we are around, what we are talking about, what the sound is. It says, now this is another one. I'm going to start calling this company Gaggle. Gaggle's secret project Nightingale gathers personal health data on millions of Americans. That's coming from the Wall Street Journal. It says, do you trust Gaggle with your personal health data? Why or why not? And it says, Gaggle began the effort in secret last year with St. Louis-based Ascension, the second largest health system in the U.S., with the data sharing accelerating since summer, the documents show. The data involved in Project Nightingale encompasses lab results, doctor diagnosis, and hospitalization records, among other categories, and amounts to complete health history, including patient names and dates of birth. It says neither patients nor doctors have been notified. At least 150 Gaggle employees already have access to much of the data on tens of millions of patients, according to a person familiar with the matter and documents. What do you think about this? If your data, obviously we know that everything is almost public, there is essentially zero privacy anymore. What do you think about them having your data? Now, Dex, you were kind of on the corporate side of this. You were very high up with these tech companies. Do you kind of see where they're coming? Why would they want our health data? Do you know?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, these companies want as much data as possible because the more data they have, the more they can apply algorithms and AI, as we like to call it nowadays, to uncover things, to discover things. And like on the marketing side, to have more data means you can make more predictions and sell more product or talk to the right people at the right time. And I imagine in the healthcare side, having more data in theory would allow you to make better predictions and understand somebody's health and provide them a better quality of care. But there's always the but. Like, do you want your data? How much of your data do you want these big companies to have? And what type of privacy concerns do you have with that? And what are your rights? And especially with HIPAA laws and things like that, we do expect a lot of privacy when it comes to our health records. So it's not to say that these are necessarily breaking those laws, but they are definitely, creating large databases of information. And I assume they're doing it legally, but it also then creates new challenges and new things for us to think about as individuals and citizens and what we want to happen with our data.
Yeah, none of us would openly just volunteer and say, "Oh yeah, grab all of our information." Somebody said in the chat, and honestly, I didn't see your name, so, no offense against anybody here, but here's something that I would hope that our chat and that our Foogle family can encourage, including my mods. We got plenty of really good mods here. Here's the thing that I would hope that we can try to do. Instead of people saying, the Democrats or whatever, all they do is, lie, the Republicans, this and that. Instead of the two, do you have a cousin that is a Democrat? Does that mean your cousin automatically lies because he's a Democrat? Or if they're a Republican, does that automatically mean that they support T-Man or that they watch conspiracy theories? These are all stereotypes based on what side they had to pick, right? I don't even think now we have so many complicated issues. It used to be more centered like pro-life, pro-choice, all this and that. Now there's so many more issues. Having it into a two-party system and then saying automatically because somebody claims they're a Democrat or a Republican and saying they do this because of that, that's what's dividing us. There's plenty of good people, and guess what happens? So say I say I'm a Republican and says, "Oh, I hate you because you're a Republican." That's just not what we should be doing. Or if they say, "Oh, all Republicans do this," then that person who you haven't even gotten a chance to talk to is automatically offended because they side with that side. You see what I mean? It's like, it's almost like, it's like, it's the same thing as any of the other sensitive insults that everybody's, super sensitive about. But if you can imagine that, you're talking to people, you have a huge group of people in the chat or anywhere you go, and some of them are going to be that. And when you say a blanket statement like that, you're automatically having that person dislike you, you're dislike them. I mean, it's just causing an argument. I think we almost need to throw kind of our points of views out, at least until we can get to know each other and, just get this. This has to stop. And, people say that they can't make a difference. And in all of our minds, we think, "Oh, I'm just one little person, and it's not like I can stop the millions of people doing all these dumb things." But we can. We honestly can. And I'll tell you what, I started streaming to nobody. I streamed to 2 or 3 people at a time. Kenneth H. was my 5th subscriber. I used to talk to 5 people. And then slowly I talked to 8 people, and then it was like 15 people, and then it was like 25. And now it's over 2,000, most nights over 3,000, up to 5,000 people. So you can make a difference. And then those people go out and then they meet in person. We've got people meeting all over the country because I started a little stupid live show. Now, I'm not trying to flex. I'm just trying to say one person can make a huge difference. And the 2,000 of us right here, right now, we can make a giant difference, especially if we start, getting organized and, just push out positive stuff. Just because I have friends that are Democrats that would never, ever lie. I'm thinking one in particular, and the guy just cannot tell a lie, even if it was like a white fib, like, oh, I didn't eat that donut. Wouldn't do it. So that's a blanket statement that doesn't actually apply to every person. So I think that's part of the problem is not even so much the person saying it, it's the person right there that is that and saying, oh, he says that everybody's a liar. And if that person hasn't lied, then they go, I hate you. Then it's just a constant cycle saying other names. I mean, even some of my favorite people like Crowder. Crowder says it all the time, like, oh, we shouldn't make the left or right, but them left, Democrats, this and that. We got to stop. We got to stop doing that and go for specific people. If somebody specific says something dumb, then call them out on it. Not everybody that claims the same thing, That's just my opinion. You guys can share yours, 224-400-MARF. As far as the Nightingale thing, man, that's just creepy. So Supreme Court clears path for handy book victims. And I say handy. What a handy book that is. I'll just show you this because obviously some of you may not know. Some of my friends used to be on YouTube before they covered that. Legal battle against Remington. Now, basically, Dex, what this means is they can actually... So say a mass event happens, right? 60 people perish. Dex, this is basically saying that they can sue the manufacturer. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading in this, is they're clearing the way, at least at the Supreme Court level, to say it's okay to go after the manufacturer, which is, that's going to have some interesting consequences if that proceeds, and we'll see what the ramifications are of this. It's a very difficult article to talk about on this channel or in this platform, so I suggest everybody go take a look at it. If you're not familiar with it, just go read it and see what's going on. It's very important to understand from a Second Amendment point of view.
Do you guys, and if you are somebody who is a Second Amendment, soldier here, this is a big deal because are the manufacturers... I mean, okay, if I take a stapler and staple my hand on accident, is that what's his name, Ty Pennington's fault, right? Or who's the guy that has the gold staplers? Is that the manufacturer's fault? If I run over my foot with a lawnmower, is that Honda's fault? Or if I run over my wife, can my wife's mom sue the car company? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. What are they supposed to do to stop that? Like, tell their customers, like, hey, please don't use this, period. I don't understand how they're looking at it. Maybe you guys can explain it. Maybe you guys can call in 224-400-MARF. I think it's a very complicated issue. What is not complicated is reading the Second Amendment. There's a part that says shall not be infringed, period. It's pretty easy. Fireball lights up the skies over St. Louis during northern Turrid meteor shower. So we covered this on our other channel quite in detail. We showed you all of the tweets. In fact, if you guys want to check all of the tweets out, in fact, I'll just show you real quick. This is really cool. We can go to news, and then we can go what happened over Missouri. Something's up here, Missouri meteor. Down here is all the tweets. So these are all the videos. So I'll just show you a couple of them real quick. This one's from Tom Stolze. Man, look at that. So, the internet, some are saying that this wasn't a meteor. It made a loud boom. Dutch Sense himself, the forecasting earthquake phenomena named Dutch Sense. He actually had 2 cameras that caught this, one over his lake and then one over the side of his house with the trees, and both of them just lit up like it was daytime for a brief second. With that being said, he said it was about a minute and a half after the flash until he heard the big boom. So that's a really far distance. If it was a meteor, they have basically an average speed that they come in. Even if it was on the lower end, that means it went really, really far, and that was a huge, huge blast. People are saying that they felt or heard it over a state away. Didn't we get an email from like 2 states away, Dex? You're probably on the phone. That's okay. I believe we got 2.
I'm back.
Didn't we get an email saying that they heard it and felt it from 2 states away?
Yeah, the other neighboring states, I had heard people saying that they did hear the sound, the boom, whether it's the explosion or the sonic boom. We're not sure. I think it would be something a little bit different than a sonic boom. But
yeah, this one was. All of these Nest cams and Ring cams are now catching things that, we normally wouldn't catch. What's even trippier, though, too, is this area is covered in snow, so that light basically reflects. It was much easier to see a lot of, effects on the ground. The ground reflected really bright, so it further even lit up, everything from below. It kind of acted like a reflector. I mean, it literally lit up everything. The trees. People that saw it in person said that it was literally daytime for a brief second. That's what it was like. So I thought that was pretty crazy. If you guys saw this, give us a call at 224-400-MARF if you were a witness to that fireball. This is the big deal, or at least some are saying that this is something they've been worried about for years, and I've never even heard of it. It's a volcano watch. It's an intense earthquake swarm that is ongoing at the Ashka, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, Ashka volcano, Iceland. If it would erupt tomorrow, ash cloud would spread south directly over Europe. And by the way, the original, this is actually from severeweather.eu. So this is actually from this website. I'll click on it and go back real quick. We take out all the ads. We take a lot of time before these shows. The reason why we don't do this, so there's ads everywhere, is because it slows everything down. But again, this is from severeweather.eu, and this talks about the whole thing. It actually has some maps here. Again, you can get to the original website by going to our marfooglenews.com if you want to check this out later. If you're watching this a month from now, make a comment and let me know that you're watching it, way later. I think most of my shows, they get the views for a day and then, it's old news. So these are, I think these are all of the different volcanoes. Where's the one that they're talking about, though? Ashka. So this is the one right here. As you can see, it's right here in the middle, kind of, or let me physically make it in the middle. So that's Ashka. And it looks like it's got some big gaps around it. So this might be a big one. Obviously, they're concerned about it, causing an ash cloud that would cover Europe. So a big deal. It says not so long ago, we wrote about the elevated activity at certain volcanoes in Iceland. In the past few days, an earthquake swarm began at the Ashka volcano. Get this, over 700 earthquakes have been recorded at the Ashka volcano in less than a week. Dutch Sense covered this, I believe, as well. Ashka is the caldera volcano situated in the eastern volcanic belt in Iceland. The volcano got famous during its very big eruption on March 29, 1875. Ash or tephra from this eruption was windblown to Scandinavia and even Central Europe. This large eruption triggered a substantial wave of emigration from Iceland. The last eruption of Ashka was in 1961, quite smaller in size than the large 1875 eruption. So they're saying that this thing is potentially going to go off again. They don't have much records from what I see as far as more or less science from 1875, but from 1961, they say that they had a similar event. So that is why they're watching this very carefully. Usually, if it's over here, we care. If it's somewhere else, we don't. But for my friends in Europe, I hope that this doesn't happen. And for my friends in Iceland, I really hope it doesn't happen. Was it, didn't T-Man talk just about a couple months ago about buying Iceland? Wasn't that the...
It might have been Greenland or part of Greenland.
No, that's right. It was Greenland. He talked about buying Greenland, and we found some connections with some other stuff with that. Because nobody kind of got it. It was just out of left field. The thing about T-Man is he might be in secret briefings or whatever, hear something about Greenland, and then he'll just kind of blurt out during a public conference like, we've been thinking about buying Greenland. When really, there was probably something top secret to do with Greenland. That's my opinion about it. I think there was probably something top secret that had to do with why we would, buy Greenland. And I think he just kind of blurts stuff like that out. And then we found some sort of connection. And then the whole thing with Antarctica and all that, all of the military up there, it's just really weird. So again, that started on November 6th. It's been 6 days of a huge swarm. So people are watching that like a hawk. Geophysicists are looking at that, making sure that they keep track of every earthquake. Multiple pileups close Ohio roads as snow moves east. Storm claims at least 6 lives. So this is a really bad one. Praying for my friends in Ohio there, especially Ohio, deep fried Foogle fan. You guys are awesome people over there in Ohio. Plenty of friends over there, actually. It says whiteout conditions were cited during a pileup involving as many as 85 vehicles. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's pretty bad. Hopefully they were going, slow speed. It says at least 2 people were killed on snowy and icy roads in Ohio on Tuesday. A 50-vehicle crash blocked Interstate 80 near Austintown, Ohio. At least 4 deaths Monday were blamed on the snowy conditions in the Midwest and Plains. Snowy weather and whiteout conditions were blamed for multiple pileups in Ohio and at least 2 deaths on Tuesday, a day after at least 4 people were killed in dangerous travel condition caused by a snowstorm that swept through the Plains and Midwest. Man, that's, with this kind of stuff, we're seeing all these crazy snowstorms, and people still don't see that they're like altering our weather. I mean, now that might as well be a normal one, but man. Swarm of 10 quakes. Imperial Valley town in California. Now, if you're in California and you're around this area, please let us know if you felt any of the smaller earthquakes or even any of the bigger ones. Give us a call at 224-400-MARF. It says that FEMA, let's see here. FEMA explains what you should do before an earthquake happens and when it occurs in an animated video called When the Earth Shakes by FEMA. It says a swarm of at least 10 earthquakes reaching up to a 4.0 magnitude shook the California desert near the Mexican border on Monday night, the U.S. Geological Survey reports. It says the other quakes in the swarm range from 2.5 to 3.3, and then it says a 20-minute series of quakes, including the 4.0 trembler, began at 6 p.m. Pacific time Monday in the city of El Centro in the Imperial Valley. So what does this mean? What some are saying, and some of the earthquake people online and some of the people that are actually on Twitter are all saying that this very well could be signs of bigger things triggering. Some in emails have stressed to us that they believe that there's something going on under California, that there is a new volcano that we do not know about. Now, some think that there's actually evidence to support that. Even some of the smarter, higher-ranking people in our military group are saying that they have heard rumors of this gigantic caldera under California, which I thought was, with everything that goes on over there, I was looking at maps and, kind of where all the fault lines were. What if it was kind of by the Ridgecrest area or further even in, under the desert? People talk about Area 51, how some think that there's, an open waterway underneath the whole thing. Some say that they've found different temperature readings, that the ground has been hot, that there's been fires underneath in the sewers. Somebody said that they saw lava a couple weeks ago, underneath California. That I never saw a video, so I didn't really cover it. So there's just been a lot of odd stuff. And then the Ridgecrest 7.0, all those earthquakes, that was under a testing facility, a weapons testing facility for the military, and they immediately got $100 million signed off like that. It wasn't even like, oh, let's put it through the ringers, let's do let's jump through hoops to get the money for this base. It was just like, boom, instant $100 million. Even though, maybe half a block away, there was almost, virtual, not the kind of damage you would expect from 7.0 and a 6.4 earthquakes. So some people were asking why $100 million when the damage didn't really match the price tag. Some think that, they were putting that money towards something else. France clears beaches after bricks of very pure cocaine wash up daily, puzzling investigators. Wow, that's pretty funny. I wonder, Dex, where would that come from? Where's France's shoreline on the other side from? I wonder, is there one of the countries that is famous for cocaine on the other side of the water? It's pretty confusing. Beaches in Southwest.
Yeah, it is.
What country is it on the other side of? I'm just
it's the Mediterranean there, right? The Riviera. So I don't know if it's just floating in or if it came off a ship or what. But it's crazy that it's coming in every day.
I bet that they probably have to keep a full line of cops there, so tweakers don't go run down there. That's a crazy story. That must have been a drug smuggling ship that sank or something, right? Well,
and I guess you'll tell us in a minute, but my assumption is the southern part of France in the Mediterranean, but it could, in theory be coming from the northern part too. I don't know, across from London, but who knows?
Well, it says beaches in southwest France along the Atlantic coast have been shut down after bricks of cocaine and other drugs continue to wash ashore for weeks now, leaving investigators puzzled over where the illicit substances came from. It says the packages of drugs have turned up daily on beaches as far as 300 miles apart from Nantes in western France to the resort town of Biarritz near the Spanish border to the south. It says the Asterix said authorities have so far recovered, holy crud, 1,920 pounds of drugs with a street value that could be worth millions of dollars. The cocaine was especially dangerous, testing at 83% purity. Oh my gosh. You have to be kidding me. Yeah, I mean, people, that's like finding the lotto. Now, I'm sure any normal person would find that and get the hell rid of it. Geez, that's just insane. I thought, in my head, I was thinking these little tiny, baggies or something, not millions of dollars worth of, and then, just so you know, there's what was that show that was on? I've watched a bunch of those A&E shows, and what I do remember very specifically is they said when this Colombian cocaine guy came into town, it was a documentary on kind of how they changed the whole cocaine scene and all this. And they said that, at first it was pure, then it was cut for 10 years, and then people freaked out when it got up to like 70% purity or whatever. This stuff is like 83% purity. So really quite pure for, not being in Colombia or wherever the heck it was originally made. So that was some high-end cocaine. It says French prosecutors said Sunday that they had opened an investigation after finding, quote, a significant amount of cocaine and other drugs on beaches all along the Atlantic coast in recent weeks. So they have literally shut down all the beaches to collect cocaine. It says it's a very pure product that must not be consumed in this form because there's a very high risk of overdose. It says over a dozen beaches have been closed and police are patrolling the areas. Police have already caught a 17-year-old on a closed beach near Bordeaux trying to swipe 11 pounds of cocaine. 11 pounds. Oh my gosh. If you a 17-year-old kid with 11 pounds of cocaine, oh man. Investigators are working with European authorities and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency to find out where the drugs are coming from. Over a week, I mean, that must be like, I thought maybe a ship, must have sank or something. Or maybe they saw the, federal police or something out in the water, so they tossed it real quick or had a scare and then couldn't get it back. I don't know. That's just nuts. Absolutely.
Somebody's in trouble, though. That's a lot.
Somebody got beheaded in Mexico or somewhere. Neighborhood heads up. Someone near 15th and West Northwest has been, gross, spreading poop on the undersides of at bike share bike handles for the last 2 Sundays. Gross and a health hazard. Glad at bike share is fixing it, but bikers beware. Oh man, this is just gross. So, yeah, there's that. That is so messed up. So you go to rent a bike and maybe somebody's got a deal. Maybe I wonder if it's is bike share, is that the one that comes from China? I just wonder.
I don't know. But these are the ones that you just walk right up to, right? They're sitting in the rack and you just grab one and take off, right?
I always like, more than the posts like this, I always like the replies. Seems like every day I live to see more of these kinds of things. Can't wait to get back to the normal middle of this country. No fallen angels allowed. Replying. Okay, I hate those stupid memes. Man, you guys are just messed up. Does Scott Simon have an alibi? These aren't even that good. I usually like the top 10 are just like the funniest responses. Sunday churchies, no doubt. What are you calling churchies? Is that what millennials call Christians now? Either way. Moving on. Man receives response to message in bottle 9 years later. Now, these are the kind of fun ones that I like. A Massachusetts college student has received a response to a message he threw into the ocean when he was 10 years old. Suffolk University sophomore Max Verdenbro says he put the letter into a glass wine bottle that he threw into the water at Long Beach in Rockport in August 2010. Verdenbro's father texted him Friday to say that he had received a letter from someone named G. Dubois, who found the bottle on a beach in southern France on October 10th. In Verdenbro's original letter, he listed some of his favorite things, including apples, the beach, and outer space. He also asked that the letter's recipient please write back. So he actually posted pictures of this. We're going to show you here. So this is the original letter. Can you imagine writing this when you're 9, putting it in a bottle, and getting it back when you're 19? Like, that's pretty freaking cool. I hope that if I find one, I would totally write back. That is very cute.
Did you say France? That bottle made it all the way to France?
Don't tell me do you think he dumped the drugs?
No, but I was just saying that's a long way for the bottle. Had plenty of years to get there.
Yeah, I wonder if he also dropped 1,920 pounds of cocaine when he was 9 years old. Is the guy's last name Pacino? No. Special South African gin is infused with elephant dung. Yeah, these are weird, all right. The makers of South African gin infused with elephant dung swear that the use of the animal's excrement is no gimmick. The creators of Induluvu Gin, Les and Paula Ansley, stumbled across the idea a year ago after learning that elephants ate a variety of fruits and flowers and yet digest less than a third of it. As a consequence, in the elephant dung, you get the most amazing variety of these botanicals. Les Ansley said it during a recent visit during their operations. Why don't we let elephants do the hard work of collecting all these botanicals and we make a gin from it? He recalled his wife suggesting. People are just crazy. Like, that's disgusting. Never got the worm in tequila either. I just think it's absolutely gross.
That's the first time in my life I've ever heard the word botanicals and elephant dung in the same sentence.
Yeah, this is like winning the word lottery right there. Like, you just botanicals and elephant dung together. That's like a match made in Shivan. California man detained, given citation for eating sandwich on BART train platform. It says a California man was detained by transit police for eating a breakfast sandwich on a train platform last week, a violation of state law that ended with a man being handcuffed and given a citation. So this is literally saying, wow, there's a video of this apparently. It says, you are detained and you are not free to go, the officer says in the video, telling him that eating on a BART train or platform is a violation of California law. Foster accuses the police officer of singling him out among other people on the platform. McCormick then grabs Foster's backpack and threatens to send him to jail. Now, here's what I think happened, Dex. I think they don't say what kind of sandwich this is. I also read a story about it was actually Vice, I think, talked about how the police will, take items and then basically confiscate them and sell them. Even if you don't end up getting the crime convicted of, they take those items and then they sell them, or it actually gets distributed within the police force somehow. I think that this was a Popeye sandwich, wasn't it? I bet
it very well could have been. And that officer might have been hungry.
I bet you he arrested him and took that sandwich. They just don't say. The guy next to him had pizza. The other person, that's not illegal. But if you got a Popeye sandwich on a BART train, you are screwed, buddy.
Now, the video I would recommend if anybody wants to go watch. Full video is there, but I didn't queue it up for us because it's full of a lot of expletives. With the gentleman being very irate with the officer who is bothering him for eating a sandwich.
I'm sorry, but I think that's the stupidest reason to go to jail. And look, I love his quote. I'm not going to jail for eating a sandwich, Foster tells him, demanding he release his backpack. And then, quote, no, for resisting arrest. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, seriously, that was, I support police, but somebody on that kick, but here's the thing. I would like to see the whole video before I would make a judgment call on that. But there are some cops, and I've had them too. I jaywalked once and got sat down and talked to like I was an idiot when I was 17. And essentially we saw, it was a big, 3-lane highway, then a kind of divider where you can stand, and then a 3-year thing. And me and my buddy were 17 running across. We stand in the middle. A cop drives by this way, and we knew we were jaywalking. We looked right at the cop and then ran real quick to my door, which was like on the other side of the street and right there, bottom apartment, right on the corner. So we ran right into our deck. Well, another cop was going the other way, saw us, look at the cop, and then jet like it was nothing. So he goes over the divider, goes, pulls up and pulls a taser on us. Then we're like, whoa, 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 we live here, because it had like little wood slats, on this, like anybody could have walked up to my sliding glass door at that place and sat me down, treated me like a complete idiot. So, I told him what school I went to. He's like, oh yeah, you're a writer. Oh yeah, they're real smart, huh? Blah. Just talked to me like a complete idiot. And all we were really guilty of was jaywalking. They didn't even give us a citation. They just like spent an hour and made us sit there like idiots. Those kind of cops, the ones that, they are on a power trip. I'm sorry. I just can't stand those guys. There's plenty of really good cops. But some of them, man, it goes right to their head. For a sandwich, like even if it is a law, give them a citation, whatever. But that's stupid.
I think he did stall long enough in the argument with the officer to actually finish consuming the sandwich, because it looked like he was pretty much putting it away while arguing. So maybe that was a strategy.
Well, I mean, he, at least he didn't go to jail hungry, We are fooked. Thank you. I appreciate that. I guess he couldn't write something there. Prepper Ilea says, I make apocalypse jokes like there's no tomorrow. That one was good. Prepper Ilea, I've never heard that one, surprisingly. Mary Ippen, welcome to the channel. If you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Amanda Jane Whittle, thank you for subscribing. Lily Rose, thank you for subscribing. Again, mods, welcome Lily, Amanda, and it looks like next Lance, thank you. I appreciate that. Superman Sweden, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up at all the shows lately. 10 sec. I don't know what even that is. Is that Netherlands? Central Florida Prepper, thank you. I appreciate that. It says booyah. And then we've got Bearing My Soul for Jesus has subscribed. David Myers has subscribed. Brett 1212 or 2112. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome, Brett and David. Liam, welcome to the channel. Vinicio Potasio V Rocks Pit, thank you for being the last one out last show. And then, of course, Hoop Air FPV. Much love, Adam and Dex. Love you guys and what you do. Frozen Marauder. I'm about 20 minutes behind, but your intros rock. Well, thank you, Frozen Marauder. Some people think that they're just plain dumb. But we like to kick it off because, man, some of this stuff is not fun. Some of it is, but, some of it's just gross. Prosperous Music says, showing support to the most informed YouTube channel out there. I just released a song under my artist channel on YouTube under Don Bandito. The song's called Take Me Up Higher. Would love to share it with the fam. Love you guys. Well, Prosperous Music, get a hold of either myself or Dex. Hit us on Twitter. Share the song through one of the either Instagram or through Twitter. Would love to hear it. Let's see here. And if you are an avid watcher or you're not, either way, I would definitely suggest that you guys check out EMP Shield. We've talked about it many times. We're gonna actually talk to some experts pretty soon here that will guaranteed 100% have you basically know that this, we believe, is going to be an issue in the future. It's something that, a lot of us, basically, we know that they're going to try this. T-Man actually signed a bill over, I think it was May 3rd, to harden our grid. He said that we were just completely like an open door, and there are active parties planning this. So EMP Shield is the world's first and only electromagnetic pulse protection device that you can get for your home. You can get one for your car. You can get one for your ham radio. You can get one for your solar system. You can even get one for your RV, for your generator. All of those different devices you can actually protect with EMP Shield. Again, They are doing $75 off on devices, multiple devices, if you get more than one. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. I believe that's a incredibly limited time offer. It protects against all phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. There's a full list of there. If you actually go to the website, you can see all of the... I did not know they did boats. That's actually awesome. And go to just marfooglenews.com. All right, so we're going to get into it. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps at the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. Again, if you have not seen the main channel, Marfoogle News is still at 144,000. People say that we don't get held back. This channel's been at that for, I think, 2 months or something, at least a month and a half. So Marfoogle News, go check it out. Go subscribe. That's where the camera and the meteor videos that we just posted are, and we are going to be posting more. You can actually share this Marfoogle News, Marfoogle.news with anybody, and it will go right to it. If you want to join the Foogle Fam community, make sure you go in. It's at marfooglenews.com. Sign up for Marfoogle alerts. A lot of people have an issue getting into Discord. Make sure to follow the instructions on the website. Perfect. There's 11,000 plus people preparing meeting in person. It's a huge deal. Get in there. If anything hits the fan, we're going to know first. We have so many military. We have so many folks all around the country that know what's up, and we're all in communication. We've got ham radio operators. We've got everybody. So make sure to get in this Foogle Fam community. It's honestly one of the smartest things to do at this point. We have no idea where the country's going in the next few months, or let alone the next few years. With that being said, if you guys want to check out the Earthing movie, I highly recommend it. If you have never done Earthing, it's something that I do. People are going to go, well, what the hell is Earthing? Earthing is actually kind of a lifestyle at this point. It's something you can do for absolutely free. It sounds crazy, but standing barefoot on the earth is absolutely amazing. Go to marfooglenews.com/GT. There's 25 medical studies that back this up now. Again, it decreases inflammation when you are grounded, just like your, appliances, just like anything else with that third little plug. We can be grounded. We have separated ourselves from Earth with rubber soles for years and years and years, basically since the invention of rubber. And grounding is something that you can do just for free. You can go out in your yard, be barefoot. If you do it enough, you will see the difference. It gets all of everything going in your body. What I do is I have the bed mat. I'm, far too busy and or lazy to go out barefoot and actually stand in the lawn for too long. But again, the bed mat, you just put on your bed, you plug it in, and you go to sleep. Again, it's better for sleep. It's better for digestion, for arthritis, for all sorts of inflammation rooted causes. Go to marfooglenews.com/earthing, and you will get free shipping with the code MH. That's from Miriam Hemingway. Check out that interview. It's great. The Marfia shirts, all sales go towards Cars for Heroes. It helps, and that's 100% of the profit goes to Cars for Heroes for veterans. Again, this actually, that what they do is they help veterans that cannot afford a vehicle to get a vehicle. And then that is at marfooglenews.com/t-shirts if you want to represent. And that's basically it. Boom. Let's get the first call going. And looks like we've got Rip Curl. I hope it's good. Let's see. He's got some alarming news, so that's not always fun. Rip Curl, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Well, hello, Adam. How you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. So, Rip Curl,
glad to hear that.
What triggered you to call in today?
Well, first off, well, I'm calling in about something that I came across that has to do with Cascadia, and what I wanted to say first, just really quick, is that something you had said earlier. I wanted to thank everybody, one, for all the well wishes whenever I'm sick. It always amazes me that whenever I'm not feeling well, or have a flu or bug, or it doesn't matter what, there's always people in this community that we have here that are just right there to pick us up and help us feel better, and giving us well wishes. And it really does work, because I really did get better quickly. No one likes being sick, and that's why I started here at the with the whole community is because how amazing is it to have 3,000 people that are sitting here sharing with each other and helping each other share ideas and fight for a like cause. And I think there's nothing better than if we do respect each other and help each other see the real battles that need to be fought and the ones that just aren't so important to argue over, and respecting each other's differences while combining and coming together to a like cause. But the reason I called is because during the whole, November 3rd thing and everybody with their theories and stuff going out, I always look for in any story, there's a lot of, say, propaganda going out there and a lot of truths and not truths, but in everything, there's always a thread of truth, something to be gained by it. And what I started noticing is even before the November 3rd date, the one thing that was holding true is there was an awful lot of crisis drills, and they were everywhere. There were ads for crisis actors to do crisis drills with, and so I started trying to figure out why. And of course, at first I was thinking, well, it must be because of the November 3rd thing, and it's another one of those things where something's always going on. But what I found was, in really calling around and looking into them, was that the real drills that they were running had to do with big events, Cascadia, earthquake events, natural disaster events, events with shortages of food, pandemics, and so forth like that. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound like anything to do with. Of course, there was a drill running in Seattle area, of course. But even it was kind of geared towards, part of it was towards a natural disaster and so forth. So it got me looking into that. And of course, I found the older articles where, Seattle PI had said that, the older articles were Cascadia volcanoes, that they're really worried about Rainier being a silent sleeper and one of the most dangerous that are out there. And so it kept me looking for some, newer articles. And I had come across some of the other ones, like the fact that while there is Yellowstone and they're worried about it going off and so forth like that, that there were 9 other active volcanoes that they were worried about erupting at any time. And I started looking and finding even more current news about the fact that, again, in 2019, they're warning of Mount Rainier could erupt. And they're tying these all in each one of these articles with the key to triggering these eruptions. They're bringing a tie to volcanoes and the Cascadia event. And what they're really afraid of happening, and what you had up on the screen there, was USGS, and it's a big article, but on page 16, what I found was really important about that, the whole article, and I encourage people to read that one from the USGS, is it's going over how they're drawing the ties to the Cascadia event and volcanoes that they suspect are gonna erupt, and the threat assessments is what I found tying these articles together. And what got really scary to me is when you get to page 16. If you go to page 16, that's the very beginning of the top threats. Those are the ones they consider very very eminent, or let's see what I have written down here. They are the very high threats, or the ones that are in the red. And out of those 18 very high threats, they're worried about is the fact that if Cascadia goes, there are 18 high threat volcanoes that are ready to go with it. And I think that's why there's a lot of people that are talking about this tie between, they think they see magma and so forth, or lava flowing underneath California and stuff. And we don't know if that's true or not, but there is definitely geological events going on. And I believe that some of the things that we may be seeing, and some of those people that are watching from the satellites, those little puffs or explosions they think they are, could be thermal venting that's happening as well. But obviously the USGS thinks that there are 18 high threat volcanoes ready to go. And out of those, when you look at them, just to give people a quick rundown, there's Kilauea, Mount St. Helens, Rainier, Shasta, Hood, Three Sisters. There's a bunch or a few, I should say, in Alaska that I can't pronounce. But there's Lassen, Newberry, Mount Baker, Glacier Peak, Crater Lake, and Long Valley Caldera. So out of the 18 that there are, there's 11 out of the 18 that are just the West Coast.
I just saw the red ones, and this is in Oregon and in Washington, and they're all, look at the threat level, the red threat level, and then check it out, all of them right in one line along the Cascadia. I'm telling you, this is on the Cascadia. So I've focused on this. Some of the newer viewers don't know, but I've been doing a documentary on the Cascadia subduction zone. I know I hear a lot of criticism, like, it will happen by the time you get it out. You guys have no idea how much digging that this thing has. The idea was to spread words. I interviewed people. 1 out of 10 people when I started last year did not know. One person out of 10 knew what it was. Maybe 2 people knew what the really big one was, or they heard of the really big one, but they didn't even know what it was called. Nobody knew this was going to happen, even just as of like 2 years ago. A couple articles came out, including by Chris Goldfinger, who I've interviewed, and it's like nobody realizes this, but this is huge. These are all of the incredibly high risk volcanoes here. So this is pretty crazy.
Well, and they're in the order according to the article of the threat that they pose too. And while there's been lots of articles come out recently, in fact, just in 2019 here, which we'll try to put on the website, I'm sure, but they can find them in Discord as well. The Mount St. Helens, Kilauea, of course, is number one because it's currently erupting and always is. But Mount St. Helens, Rainier, Shasta, this is in order from top down. Hood, these are all massive, massive volcanoes. A lot of them have been stone cold quiet too, which are considered silent killers as well. Now, if you go on to read that, and there's a couple other articles that I read where I found that if this was to happen, and the Cascadia, and it's not an if to most people, it's a when, goes off. If it was to, like they are thinking, trigger these volcanoes, it could then trigger Yellowstone, which is number 21. So it's just barely out of the red limit. And then Yellowstone is the one that they're afraid could trigger things like the New Madrid. And what got me worried about this, and why I wanted to call in about
the whole country,
because what ties this all together, right, is the fact that it's the microquakes and the swarms of earthquakes that have been happening in just the 7-day period that I was looking into this during that November 3rd area, before and after. There were 2,000 quakes in 7 days. And those are what they considered quakes. So those aren't even microquakes. There were many more microquakes as well, which are what are more like tremors. They're what's under, I think, like a 1. But the 2,000 were all over that. And that was in a 7-day period. And so they were finding that, quite alarming, that this is ramping up. And so what got me even more worried about that is, so then I go and talk to my friends, and I have some friends and so forth that are in the National Guard, as well as the Air National Guard, as well as hospitals around here. And when I started looking at it, right now, they're all running their drills. And they're all running them again. And it was all at the same time. Our local hospital was running its drill for emergency crisis due to a Cascadia type event. So was the Air National Guard. So was our regular National Guard. And all the other organizations like that. And I found that from the West Coast all the way down through California.
So it looks like they're actually kind of in the same order doing preparation. So what Rip Curl is saying is, did you see my interview with Chris Goldfinger, by the way? I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did.
In that interview, he's the one they based the really big one article by the New Yorker. It went viral, and all these people around the world knew about it that never, heard about it before. This is a newer, the Cascadia subduction zone is something that they only really discovered about 20 years ago or less. They did that from records of the tsunami that happened in the last one in the year 1700. It's been 319 years. By the math, it's happened on average every 240 years. It's like it literally happens all the time. So we built all these cities, these new cities, civilized cities, because America's honestly not that old, right on the line of this thing. And with this whole Cascadia subduction zone, Chris Goldfinger, I asked him a question that is going to be drilled into my head until the day I die. I said, can one big earthquake trigger another? And he told me that 20 years ago, if you asked me that question, and him being one of the lead seismologists in the world on the Cascadia subduction zone, I and all of my colleagues would have said, oh, no, you're crazy. But now they 100% have proof that earthquakes trigger other earthquakes. So obviously, even in just a few years ago, a lot of people pushed back on that. Even Dutch Sense said that. Dutch Sense was like, yeah, there's the antipodes or, this, but it's actually in their minds, yes, it can trigger the ones right next to it. So if you look at this whole line down Cascadia subduction zone, what Rip Curl's talking about is the Cascadia going a full margin rupture. This is not like a centralized earthquake. This is the entire 700 miles from Canada down to the beginning of California completely rupturing. So the entire plate, the whole United States, will shift 45 feet at once. Somebody standing in Washington and somebody standing in Seattle will both, or in California, will both move 45 feet towards the water. Then all of that water is displaced from the ground going up. All of that water must go somewhere. We could have 100-foot waves coming to us and even higher waves going to Japan. This is insane, like what it's going to do. It is a guaranteed tsunami. It's always been a tsunami every time it happens. And then when that comes this way, this isn't science fiction, guys. There is not one scientist that disagrees with this, which in the scientific community, that is rare. And what he's saying is, say it triggers any of these, all of these volcanoes, that triggers Yellowstone, and then Yellowstone has the capability and the power to actually trigger the New Madrid. So then you're talking about the whole earth kind of, spinning on, all of the plates get shifted. And then if you had an earthquake and something like that big, that could possibly end us. I mean, do you agree? I mean, we had the day shortened when we had that earthquake in 2004, wasn't it? Or was that in the 2011?
I think it was 2004.
So these are big earthquakes that changed the wobble of the earth. So these are huge.
Well, yeah, and the thing I was reading too, and the reason I was bringing this up is because you're exactly right about the tsunamis. In fact, the newest report, there was one of the 2019 reports. I think it was right in November here that was written about this, was talking about the tsunamis also that would come because of this. And they were saying that people would have 15 minutes now, is what they're saying, to get to safety. And even at that, because you're looking at anywhere from 500 to 1,500 foot waves could be generated by that. And so they are giving now like a 15-minute time. That's why they're doing a lot of their retraining, because 15 minutes is really not that long when you're talking about, getting in your car and getting gone. And let's make sure people understand this doesn't mean trying to grab everything you need to grab. It just means grab your bag and go, if that's the situation. And so because all these places are practicing for it, it really made me want to get on here and tell people, especially with, we all tend to get infighting and stuff like that with each other, but we really need to remind ourselves who we're all here for, and that we all need to be there for each other, because these kind of things are real. And if that was to happen, and those tsunamis were to hit and stuff like that, and there is a new map, and I didn't get any time to get it to Dex, but I will, and I'll come back on again. There's a new program that actually puts where you can type in your area, at least along the West Coast, and it'll tell you which zone you're in, how much time you have, if the water is going to reach to you. And it's all color coded from red to I think green or blue or something like that, in the same color scheme, all the way to the Eastern Oregon. And you can type it in all over the West Coast, and it kind of gives you an idea on that. So I'll be sure to come back in with that. But I wanted everybody to know, because if they're practicing, it means they're underreporting.
No,
sorry about that.
No. Somebody, May said, and I actually heard the same reason too. You said 500 to 1,500 foot waves. That
came straight from an article. From a story that was called Economic Collapse.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's been some changes recently. So we are actually going to be talking to somebody. We just got something in a couple days ago. Somebody who is actually, I don't even know if we can. I don't know if we should talk about it yet. Somebody who apparently is. So somebody who was also a fan of Dutch Sense sent us some information, kind of on a timeline type thing. One thing I will tell you, and this one, I dare somebody to go ask one of the FEMA and military liaisons for FEMA. So they organize FEMA and the military, and they are, basically they have such a rank where they are organizing FEMA and military. They are military first, and then FEMA, they basically coordinate the response. Guarantee you the answer will be, we thought this was going to happen 2 to 3 years ago. That is directly from a FEMA and military liaison. So they thought this was going to happen before. Now everything's ramping up. I think that the science in it, what they're finding, is that it's going to be way worse than anybody found. And I've been saying this for 2 years. I said that this will change what we consider a disaster. This is 20 times Katrina. I don't even think 20 would be. This is going to change our 21 states are. Do you remember this Rip Curl? 21 states are preparing for this. Mm-hmm. Why 21? Yep. When it's supposedly only going to affect 3, right?
Well, exactly. And now they're even starting to, I heard rumors of, okay, they're re-pushing the whole 6 months worth of stuff again. Well, now they're starting to really push that again. So why again 6 months worth of stuff for just 3 states? And now they're starting to ramp it up, saying at least 6 months. And I wouldn't doubt it. And I'll say, I hate saying mark my words, but let's just see if I'm right. I'll be willing to bet that they start moving that number up from 6 months worth of stores and supplies or so forth like that, if you're in areas that maybe aren't initially affected, like wipeout zones, into higher numbers of reserves. Excuse me.
By the way, so, I just pulled up too. Arizona, their government is 100% preparing for people walking from California in the possible millions. It says Los Angeles, CBS Local, there was Forbes, there's Fox, 12 News. Millions across the U.S. prepare for a major earthquake. The big one could leave 400,000 quake refugees. I think that's an underestimate, and so did FEMA. They said basically everything west of I-5 will be toast. Arizona preparing for California earthquake evacuees. So multiple states are actually preparing for the residents on the coast to be physically walking towards their states. This is like,
and that,
ugh.
well, that would be another great big reason why it's more than just 3 states or 4 states, say, and it's because say Alaska's affected or something like that. That's why it's a lot more than that, and it's 21 states, is because that's an exact good point. It'll be just like the refugees from other countries who are flooding here and flooding to other countries from war-torn areas or from areas that are getting, say, overrun by cartels and things like that. It's going to be the same sort of thing, except it's just going to be caused naturally by a natural event. So yes, the survivors aren't going to have anywhere to go, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So that's why it would be more than just 4 states preparing. This is something that would affect an entire country. So that's a really, really great point.
Well, Rip Curl, it was beautiful to have you on. Thank you for calling in with that information. I think that everybody is thankful for you pulling that out. And please call in again, all right?
I will. Thank you, sir.
All right. You have a great night. God bless.
You had it. All right. God bless.
All right. Let's see here. Bye-bye. Up next, we have Wandering Foogle. What's up? You are live on Marfoogle TV.
Hi, Marv. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'd like to give a shout out to Snafu Snaps. He did a very good interview with me the other day, and I got to introduce everyone to my monkey.
That's awesome.
But
now, you called about a Foogle Sunrise event looking for volunteers. What's up with that?
Oh, yeah. What I want to do is get volunteers. I want to get Foogles from the East Coast to the West Coast to record the sunrise at a certain, we have like a clock where we could, tell what time it is and all that. And then I want to piece it all together so we could see the complete sunrise for the entire United States. I just thought it was a good idea.
So wait, how would that work? So, so somebody over in the West Coast would see it first, correct? And then
the East Coast would see it first.
Oh, that's right, because it's 3. Sorry, that was so dumb. So they would do it at 5 a.m. or whatever, and then Central Time, they would do it an hour later, and then so are you now? I have a feeling. Do you think that we would see something, or is this kind of a scientific experiment, or?
Yeah, it's actually inspired by CJ Blaze. She shows all the stuff that's happening during the sunrise with we know what's happening with the planes. So I just want to kind of piece it together to see how it is affecting us throughout the entire country.
Well, that sounds actually pretty interesting. If anybody wants to volunteer, I guess what we could do is you could actually go to Twitter and tweet me if you want to do it. We need how many people? You need people from East Coast. Do you just want to do East Coast, Central, and then West Coast, or do you want to try to do it?
I'd like
as many as possible.
To have at least six people.
Okay,
that would be nice from East to West Coast. And I also had a comment about what you were just showing before with Rip Curl is I believe all the volcanoes are connected. Volcanic tubes that go underneath the ground and all that. They've proven it. They are there. You could go online and you could see them, exploring them. And I called you last time about this, and I think it is all connected, and I think it will all happen all at once.
Yeah, well, that's even the experts agree that they can actually prove that one can trigger the other. Well, Wandering Foogle, is there one more thing but you want to say before you go? Anything that you want to communicate?
No, just thank you for Snafu Snaps. He doubled my subscription.
Well, okay. Let's see. Where's your channel? Let's see here. I didn't get a link. Hold on.
Yeah, it's just Wandering Foogle on YouTube. I don't have very many. I don't need that many. But I'm all about positivity. I just want people to get along. Maybe we could all work together. And that's kind of like how I came up with this. Let's all work together and get this on film.
I think it's a great idea. Let's see here.
Yeah.
So
Most people come to my channel to see the monkey, so.
That's awesome. Geez, it won't even find you here. Let me filter it to channel.
But yeah, it's all Foogles, you're all great. Love you all. Marf, you're awesome. Dex, you're awesome. All the mods, you guys are on top of it.
There we go. I got you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is the Wandering Foogle. I always thought it was Wandering. I've seen it, and I've probably said it wrong in the shoutros. This is the Wandering Foogle. If you want to check him out, and check out his monkey. Sunset, colorful skies, help the skies trying to kill us all. FEMA processing city part 1, cookie lentil beans. So you got a variety of stuff on there. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for coming on.
So, oh yeah. No problem. You have a good night.
What did you say you watch?
Oh, I was just saying I watch all the Foogles, and I try to, the beans, I was doing it because AP taught us how to cook with a candlelight, and I'd watch everyone. I'd do a little bit of everything.
Well, that's awesome, and thank you for spreading positivity, and yeah, everybody check out Snafu Snaps interview with him as well. Again, that's SNAFU Snaps. You guys can go over and check him out as well. Well, thank you, Wandering Foogle. If you would like to call in again, please feel free. I know I've seen your name here for a while, and I've seen you always spread positivity, so that's great. Even if, we can't all get along, at least people like you can, push that. It's definitely something that we should all be pushing right now.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, have a good night. Up next, we have Central Florida Prepper. Booyah. Central Florida Prepper, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Not much, Adam. How you doing, bud? You feeling better?
Yeah, I mean, well, not many people, I know my people care, but I had walking pneumonia, and it's kind of crazy. It kind of went away, and then now my left lung hurts. It's not bad or anything. It's just every time I breathe in, it feels like somebody punched me. But yeah, no, I feel much better, and I think it's
definitely not good.
Due to the prayers of the Foogle Fam. I really think, just like Rip Curl said, when everybody says well wishes, it's a lot of positive energy coming towards you. So you are actually calling in, and I'm going to pull up your card here, regarding the giving thanks, calling from Florida, of course. So I'm going to pull up this link here. Explain what this is.
I'm not sure about the link. I got a delay on my other phone, but actually, I do want to give a lot of thanks. I want to give you a lot of thanks, and I want to give you a lot of support in the community that you're building. I know it gets frustrating when you get attacked. Okay, there's no reason for you to be getting attacked. You're a really great man as far as you're very compassionate. You are very caring, and the community that you've built has, I've experienced the kindness from that community. As a matter of fact, I was just on my show the other day. I got a new meter in I had purchased for my wind turbine, and that way I can amp out everything and stuff, because I'm going to Wyoming here in a few months, and we're going to start homesteading. So I'm trying to get my alternative power situated. And wouldn't you know it, I've got something wrong, and I can't figure this thing out. I'm like, okay, this is something new to me as far as this meter. I've never dealt with shunts before. And another Foogle Fam had just happened to see the video, and they did a video for me to check out, and basically was like, you're wiring it wrong. So we kind of like bounced around a little bit. I did a little short video on mine showing them what was going on. By the end of that video, he had another video up and showed me exactly what I wired up wrong. And I just got to wait on sunrise now, but it seems everything seems to check out. And I'm like, that right there is community. You know how much he charged me? Absolutely nothing. And the genius I'm talking about is Vlad. All right, we all know Vlad.
Vlad Gruitz.
Vlad Gruitz. Yes, yeah. And I did have little Anthony Electric over there trying to help me out, but sometimes the technical talk he uses, I get lost in. The kid's smart. Okay, I'll put it that way. But yeah, I just put the video out there that I was actually having problems, and I got this huge outpour of other family members come over there and try to help me figure this thing out, because I know it's important to me, because when we go to Wyoming, we have to have everything ready to go. That's why I'm trying to test everything, get comments from other people when I'm working on these projects. So the community in itself, I just want you to know you've done an outstanding job with this community. It has grown, massively. And I don't want to, I know you've always looked things on a positive note, and I just want to continue that positivity to you. You have accomplished a great deal, and I definitely hope it continues to grow, because, dude, it's perfect. What you've done is amazing.
Well, everybody can help too. You guys can all play a part in it. You guys can share us out, but also share the Foogle Fam out. Understand, I think people just don't believe that somebody can have good intentions, especially in this niche. A lot of people are absolutely like straight up paranoid. They thinks that there has to be something behind it, right? There's got to be a Wizard of Oz, or it's got to be an FBI or a PSYOP or this or that. That's the one problem about talking about these subjects. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, they can't trust anybody now. And, how can you blame them in this country that is just like completely corrupt, completely messed up? They can't, people don't see the good in people anymore. They want to see the bad. They try to see the bad. They try to pull any little thing they can out to see the bad in somebody instead of trying to see the good. I've been on long enough that people probably, they know who I am. I've been on thousands of hours at this point. If people don't know who I am by now, it's like, I don't need those kind of people if they're going to be judgmental. Like I said, pull the speck out of your own eye before you look at your brother. So.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, man? I mean, even with the Marfoogle love mobs that I've received, you know what, that blew up my channel. It got me, like I told you before, got me working harder to make sure I do a better job, because, I do take pride in what I'm doing. If I don't know everything, I try watching as many as the YouTube creators. I've heard you and talk about Nick Nimmin and D Nimmin. I learned from those guys, okay? And I take those and I try to apply it. But yeah, man, I've been called a Fed too and everything else. I'm like, what? Really? Me?
Well, when reality, like when you're sitting and you're living with, like I sit in my living room with my 3 daughters, and we're arguing over who ate the last Krispy Kreme, and it's like people really think, yeah, I'm a secret agent, all right. I can't even get away with eating the last Krispy Kreme. But
well, with that lung issue right now, I'm beginning to think maybe you're part of the Lizard King undergrounders, because maybe you're just not used to our air here lately. So yeah, that's going to be the new spinoff now.
All right, Adam, he's turning green.
I just want to tell you, I appreciate everything, man, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, man. Thank you for being awesome. I love your videos too, by the way. The video that's on right now on the screen, I don't know why. Maybe it's like the tablecloth and then the wood background, but it just reminds me of. It reminds me of like I don't know if it's like a combination of it all, but it kind of reminds me of like a 90s like preparation video or something in a cabin in the woods, which I think it looks cool aesthetically.
That's my little fake wooden backdrop I got off of Amazon for like $30, because that's actually filmed what I call the bunker. That's my highly tactical communication systems area, which is also known as my shed. So I put that up to make it look nicer. But yeah, man, that's my outside shed.
That's awesome. And you'll have fresh breath in the end of the world. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
mints.
Exactly. Got to have that candy, man.
Yep. Well, hey, Central Florida Pepper, always a pleasure. You have a great night, and we will be talking soon.
All right, you too, man. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye. Central Florida Pepper. Yeah, he's always very entertaining. Dex and Lexi actually met him in person in Florida when they were down meeting with Jay, and then they ended up meeting him. They said him and his wife were just absolutely great people. Let's see here. I don't see what the heck is going on here. Bam. Okay, up next we've got B.O.D. Jordan Brassia or Brassia. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. That's extremely generous of you. $25 super chat. Appreciate that, Jordan. Prosperous Music. You guys are all awesome. Mark Sketch. Hi, all. I pray you're all doing well. We have your back if YT decide to get rid of channels. YT wasn't meant to be a platform for actors. It's for creators and those who want to get their content out. So a big rumor is going around that basically if you are not commercial, if you do not, essentially if you're not a commercial creator, then you are going to be gone on December 10th. So, yeah, again, I say there's a reason for everything we do. A lot of people are going to, I do agree. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are gone. So,
hello.
Hope you guys fight for us. The BOD, what is going on? Is that Shan?
Hello. Hey, Marv.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? My
Really
favorite
good.
couple.
How are you doing? I'm glad you're feeling better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So let me pull up your card real quick. And it looks like Dex says that you wanted to talk about the Earth Wobble, Facebook, and geolocation tracking. What the heck is up with this?
Let Shannon go first and the wobble.
Well, as far as the wobbling, like for the earthquakes and stuff, I've been feeling that, and a lot of people can't feel it, or I might just have like a little equilibrium problem in my brain. But I've done like you. You know how you hang the water bottles? I'll hang things
around the house.
And I'm constantly looking up to see if they're moving. And there's actually a biblical scripture that backs that up. It says the earth reels like a drunkard, and it sways like a hut in the wind. So heavy upon it is the guilt of its rebellion, and it shall fall never to rise again. And it's talking about the end of times right there.
Okay, what scripture?
The end of days. And that's Isaiah 24:20.
Watch this.
And that's exactly what it's been. Huh?
I'm just gonna pull it up real quick. Isaiah 24:20.
Yeah. And I was reading from the New International Version, but any version you want to bring up, it basically says the same thing. And I've been feeling it like that. It's like, it's hard to describe, like you're on a bus and it starts going faster, or like if you're on the platform when a roller coaster comes through. It kind of has that feeling to it.
The earth reels like a drunkard. It sways like a hut in the wind, so heavy upon it is the guilt of its rebellion. I don't know why it's got this little thing blocking it. I can't see. Rebellion that it fails never to rise again. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't it?
That's, yeah. And even for those who do not follow, I think if they even spent, all these people go down tons of rabbit holes, but they haven't gone down the biblical one. That's what I don't get. Maybe they can't stand the kind of channels that are talking about them. I think you need to find a good one, a good channel that talks about the prophecies, because man, it is scary. This is written word. Even if you don't believe the Bible's that old, even if you just go back, if some of the things were written 100 years ago, you would freak out. But knowing that it was written, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 copied this many years ago, that's
from the Old Testament, so that could be like a lot longer.
Yeah, that's the Old Testament.
You know what? That's what I'm saying. And even if it was translated 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever this, it's just absolutely freaky when you see all the things that line up. And it's not even like confirmation bias, like, oh, well, this happened and you know, oh, I took it that way. It's like exact.
If you read the book of Revelations, I know it sounds like a bunch of riddles and stuff, but if you really take it into context of how they used to see things back then when they wrote stuff, like, you know,
like if they saw a missile, they'd call it a dragon flying through the sky.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you really take a look at that, it helps you understand some of the concepts a little bit, but it is frightening, but to know that, you know, it's going to increase, and the end days is supposed to increase, and that's what they do call it. They call it the end days, you know, and I know you don't like that term too much, but
who does?
it is scary, and it's, you know, wars and rumors of wars, and it's, you know, but I know every generation has thought it was the end time for them, and but I believe we're getting closer and closer each day, whether it's, you know, our generation or the next after that still.
Yeah, when it comes to that, I heard this one pastor say, it was an old black pastor, and he said, you know, there was this grandfather teaching his grandson how to tell time from a grandfather clock, and the clock rang one time, and so his grandson knew it was 1 o'clock, 2 times, 2 o'clock, 3 times, and so forth. Time the clock rang 13 times. He said, grandson, what time is it? He said, I don't know, Grandpa, but it's later than it's ever been. And right now, that's how it is. It's later than it's ever been.
No, I just, you know, everything that I've covered over the last couple of years, it's kind of crazy to see all the dots that are connecting. And
yeah, they think there's over 7,000 prophecies that have come true from the Bible so far.
Oh yeah, in fact, I gotta send you a video of one that you would really trip on.
Israel becoming a nation again took 2,500 years, but it happened.
We should, we should almost do a video just on that.
Yeah, that would be good.
It would probably have to be a multi-part series. Just do all of the prophecies that have come true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I have something that happened today. Shannon and I went out for a little bit today, and I have this one app called Google Rewards. Remember I told you a while back that we were watching your video, and then they next thing you know it, they asked me, it's a survey thing, and you get money or whatever to get apps, and it asked me about your video. Well, it asked me about Dutch cents today. And then it sent me 2 more surveys asking me about if I went to any of these stores this week, and it just so happened one of them was Salvation Army, and the other one was Dee Dee's Discounts.
Big Brother is watching.
And so that's 2 different places that I went to today, and one of them we mentioned Dee Dee's Discounts, so I said, okay, well, they could over here or whatever. I said, but we didn't mention Salvation Army. We call it Nordstrom's Rack or whatever.
Nordstrom's East.
Nordstrom's East, that's what we call it. And, you know, that's just a joke that we always have. You want to go to Nordstrom's? So, anyways, we went there, but that's what we call it. We didn't call it Salvation Army. But it still asked me the questions if I've been such and such place today. So, the way I say it, we didn't mention the name, so how did it know we're there? Unless they're tracking.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just done. Like, people have to understand that. And people are okay with it. People don't want to fight it. There's no organization. If everybody, so say the U.S. government said, okay, we're going to give you 1 day. If they made a national day out of it and they sent us all the same emergency text that lets us know that there's a national disaster, and said, press 1 if you want to be tracked, and 2 if you want this to end. I guarantee you 100% of us would press 2. Equivalent to like writing your Congress saying this has got to stop. You know, if all of us got up and did it, they would. But that's never going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. People don't realize when they push that OK button to get a new app, it's like pretty much releasing all the information from your phone. In Europe, they have laws against it. I'm sure they do it over there too, but at least they have laws against it.
We're downloading Russian apps. We're downloading Chinese apps. We're literally we're giving their information to the enemy.
A lot of them are.
Right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
That face app.
They're looking to our phone.
Horrible.
Well, you know, it's like what was I just going to say? I just got to break it.
They're looking to our phones when we're probably even doing this conversation, Marf.
Yeah, so I mean, one more thing. I wanted to mention, this is somebody who has a thing on YouTube, a channel, and she's just started off, and she's 11 Pagan 11. She knows who she is, and she's on Discord with us.
Sweet girl.
She's definitely a Foogle Fam member, and I just wanted to mention because she's been doing some videos of the sky recently, which she calls like an earthquake light that comes on, and so there's certain lights in the sky. She could explain it a lot better. I can't, but she's doing some videos.
I think I got it wrong. 11 Pagan 11?
Yeah.
Pagan 11.
Don't let the name fool you. She's a sweet girl.
Yeah, let me tell you. I always call her the encourager because she's has such an encouraging spirit about her. She's always saying to people, "Are you okay? You know, when my car broke down, I really hope everything's good for you." She has the most beautiful spirit, and I just adore her, even though I haven't even met her in person. She came to our last meetup, but through on the phone.
Like you do.
That's awesome.
So it was. Yeah, we just had one, and it was pretty great.
Hey, you need to talk to Dex too, because I found somebody who was trolling you pretty bad. he's got a video of it. If the guy's I'm not sure if he's a doctor or not, but you really need to check it out.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I gotta see the newest. That's
oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
I will check out that troll.
Yeah, there's a couple of guest stars, at least their voices, you know, like Overland Rob and myself, or actually not myself, but somebody else.
You're talking about security. Don't even mess around. That wasn't you. That was security.
It's funny.
Well, Shan,
yeah,
you guys, what that though? I'm trying to pull up the channel. You said, how do you spell it? Is it the numbers 11?
It's 11, PAGAN. I'm pretty sure it's the same as yeah, 11 Pagan 11.
Well, she's doing that. I wanted to give Dex props on his channel. He's doing some really, really good tech stuff on there.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Well, I will make sure to give her a shout out. We'll actually find her. I know that several people know who you're talking about.
She's listening right now.
I'm hearing. Is it T or a P? P is in
P.
Pagan.
I just can't. It won't let me find it. 11 Pagan 11.
Yeah, it's 11. It's let me look her up right here. Where are you? Okay, it's 11 Pagan PAGAN 11. And she says that
the letters,
her channel's the same.
The numbers not spelled out.
Yeah,
I did
the number 11.
It's not coming up.
That's okay. We'll give her a shout out tomorrow. If I get caught on this, it will just sit and we'll go in circles. I will make sure to give her a shout out. She's in the chat. Even if I see her name actually go by, in fact, I'll just click it and do it randomly. Oh, there we go. There's a space. That stupid space is why I couldn't find her. So I'm going to stop this out. I got it.
Where's their space at? On the first and in
the
between
second
11?
The second 11.
The second 11. Okay.
Watch this. Isn't this crazy? This is how they do channels that show that kind of stuff, right? Watch this. Space. Boom. It's like, come on. You know Google. You know that they're smart enough to find this. Come on. Did you mean? Isn't that funny that the kind of stuff she covers, right? They know. You put a single space here, and they didn't do. Oh, did you mean blah 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 blah? I mean, how like specific is this name? Minus a space.
Yeah.
They don't find anything.
Oh, you got the 5 with a space and the ones with 2 spaces.
It doesn't even.
Right.
It doesn't even suggest.
She has like 95 subscribers, and she's doing some videos, like I said, of the sky and stuff. And she's a great person. You know, she just really is. So I wanted to give her a shout out because she deserves it.
No, that's awesome. Let's love mob 11 Pagan space 11.
Space 11.
Boom. There we go. She already has a few more. So we'll refresh this and we'll give her a shout out during the shout show, and we'll make sure that the Foogle Fam went over 110. Boom.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's always sharing information on Discord, so she needs to start doing more videos.
Boom, 118. Okay, well, we'll keep checking it throughout the show. And
All right. Thank you.
the Foogle Fam rolls deep. All right. You guys have a good night.
Cool.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, you too, Marf. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
All right. Good night. They truly are my favorite cover. When I go down to California, I am going to make sure to sleep on their couch. And, but probably facing up with Shan around. Just kidding, Shan. Thank you for calling Marfoogle Pizza.
What's up?
Hey, under alien control, what is going on? All right.
All right.
So,
Can you hear me okay?
yes, this is Matthew McConaughey, a.k.a. Alien Under Control. What is going on, man?
Not much. You know, I don't drive a Lincoln because I'm cool. I drive a Lincoln because they're cool.
So I've got a the giant Moloch statue. Okay, so I'm pulling up this link that you got here. What's up with this?
Okay, well, first, do you remember the other night when you were having a conversation about all the trucking going on underground and
Yep.
hundreds of miles? Right, you're starting to get behind my spaceship Earth idea a little bit now.
Are you talking about like how I was talking? It blows my mind that all of space is like a flat line. I mean, like, isn't that weird?
Right, but you were talking about how the truck drivers had to go through this whole procedure to drive underground, and they could just go for days.
Yeah, I mean, so
right. You see how that fits in with the idea of spaceship Earth, especially if you're going to try to catch some comets up here. Seems like some people would be in the way of that.
Well, and it's funny how throughout time I've actually seen quite a few people throughout history that have referenced it as spaceship Earth. Several actually, even all the way back to the early like 1900s, talking about it. You know, before they even existed.
You've seen the patent and the nuclear boring machine, right? Just melts through rock like butter.
Oh, I believe it. So
that works.
What's the statue of ancient god of child's? I don't even want to say that. What's up? This is a display in Rome.
Take a look at this statue that they put in the entrance to the Roman Colosseum. So everybody that goes there has got to see this.
So that's Moloch, right? Wow.
Yeah, right. The one they used to throw their kids into the fire and they'd all dance around.
So do you guys see the symbology on here in the eye and the triangle?
Was that eye there 3,000 years ago, or is that a modern addition? You know, because it's in all your art and your advertising and everything else.
It's on our dollar bills.
Exactly.
In fact, look at a dollar bill next time you guys get a chance. That triangle. This is evil stuff. I mean, money is evil.
See how they actually did kind of put the triangle around the eye with the blank space there around it.
Oh, no, they completely did it. I mean, look at it. It's literally the triangle.
Right. This is what all the visitors see going in, but in the article it talks about how the Catholics are having their synod or something this week for 9 days or something like that. I don't understand the rituals, but they were kind of taking it as an affront. But to put that out front of the Colosseum, they said that decision had to come from the top of the Vatican to do that.
Now, you know, it looks like he has like the third eye thing going too.
Yeah, got that going on too. But you know, there was a lot of Christians killed in there, right? I mean, there was a lot of Christian persecution going on inside of there.
You know what's weird about this statue? The statue looks, if you look at the legs and how this was made, it actually looks like there could be somebody like encased in this, like an actual body. Like, why is there this gap?
That's a surprise to me at this point. You know, if this place ends up looking like the video game Doom, man, I won't even be surprised.
I don't know, but this is evil. This is like genuinely creepy.
It's an exhibit
about Carthage, their ancient enemy or whatever. You know, so I guess it was the battle of the pagans versus the heathens, but yeah, it's a tribute to their enemies from 345 BC or something.
I just want to read the description of Moloch real quick. Moloch is the biblical name of a Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice through fire or war. It says the name of this deity is also sometimes spelled Molech, Milcom, or Malcolm. The name, weird, Malcolm? Weird. The name Moloch results from a dysphemic vocalization in the Second Temple period of theonym based on the root MLK or king. What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same at Bohemian Grove. That's the giant owl.
Wait a second.
They do the ritual and they burn the effigy of Care at Bohemian Grove.
Wait a second. The Second Temple, MLK, King, Malcolm. This is super weird. And then, there's Martin Luther King. That's just weird.
Yeah.
And the Second Temple, now they're talking about the Third Temple. They're talking about building the Third Temple.
Yeah, but that's not really in the Bible, man. But yeah, I mean, at Bohemian Grove, when all your politicians and your Illuminati, your glitterati are all out there doing their ceremony in their robes, and they bring an effigy down the river and they burn it in there, and it's Care. That's what it's labeled. That's just the owl form of it. It's the same thing. They used to throw children into the burning owl too.
Well, I just can't believe it. What is up with this Pope, man? Ever since he came in, all sorts of stuff has been going on.
But hey, look at the timing of it. There's never been a Jesuit Pope, and they got their boy in just in time for whatever's going on.
I sure as heck hope.
Yeah, the Jesuits are still like a military order, but they have the Black Pope. He's the Black Pope because he stands in the shadow of the White Pope. But yeah, the Jesuits got their Pope in, and then look how it's all gone sideways.
Well, so under alien control, is there anything else that you wanted to point out to us before you left?
Yeah, well, the call the other night, I don't know if it was Disciple David or who, but they were talking about like rituals right in front of you. The Super Bowl, the music awards, the concerts, right? So, when we're going to talk about tunneling out the earth and all, and then look on what's going on in the surface. Let me tell you, Mark, these days, many people be possessed, okay? I'm just telling you, you could get on the internet every day and watch people losing their minds, okay? They possessed, yeah.
Well, there's too many out there.
Well, just look at the crazy. But, yeah, I guess as far as the earth, welcome to Krypton. As far as the culture, welcome to Babylon. I think that about sums it up. Oh, and Kaiser Soze still running the world. Look at it out there.
Well, under alien control, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Can you leave us with an all right?
Yeah, Epstein didn't kill himself. All right. Gang, gang.
That's awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen the video that's going around. The guy catches a fish with his son. He hands the son the fishing rod so he can catch the fish. They reel the fish in, pull it in the net. Then they unhook it's a real fish. They're taking the hook out, and he's like, oh, there's something in it. Pulls out a plastic baggie with a note inside. He's all super surprised. He's like, I've never seen this in 30 years of fishing. And then he opens it up, and it says Epstein did not kill himself. That is so funny that everyone around the world is saying that as like an inside joke. You are live on Marfoogle TV. JF, what's going on?
Hey, Adam. I've been keeping you in my prayers, and I just had a couple of things to hit on real quick.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
And JF,
Foogle Fam.
it looks like you wanted to talk about social networks listening to us and the sound from Meteor. Did you hear it?
Yes. And so, okay, I'll start with the thing that flew over. We thought, okay, it was like a low flyover, but I've been at more than one Air Force base. And that's not how low flyover sounds. Okay, we had a lot of booming, you know, that you wouldn't get from a low flyover. So anyway, we're about a state and a half away because of the, you know, where St. Louis is. It's real close to Missouri, but we're just a little farther. So anyway, we were like, what was that? So we stayed up in the wee morning hours, I did, and then you came on, because I was scared. I told my husband, I said, oh my gosh, something horrible has happened somewhere. You know, I thought, good Lord, we're under, you know, some kind of weird thing going on, right? And then when I saw this thing, and, you know, he got up this morning, I said, that had to be what that was, because it didn't rattle our windows here. But, you know, it was loud, and it sounded low, but it must have just been the noise of it.
So was it more of was it an explosion louder than fireworks? Like, I mean, obviously most people hear a loud explosion, they go, oh, it must be fireworks, right? You know?
No. Okay. It was like as if a plane did a really low flyover, right? Like military. But it wasn't quite the sound that you would have got the rumbling, okay? We wouldn't have got the rumbling. That was what was so strange about it. And that's what scared me, because I thought, oh my gosh, like they must have been at our rooftop. But I think what we were hearing was the rumbling of maybe that thing passing over going towards St. Louis. You know, it wasn't as low, you know, but it must have left some noise, right, when it was traveling before it went down there.
Well, because,
you know, it traveled.
Dutch Sense said that he saw the flash, and then after that, a minute and a half went by before he heard the explosion. So that confuses me. I mean, that's such a long distance.
It does me too. Yeah.
How fast it's going.
I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't understand it. That's why I was talking to Dex about it. So I don't know what it was, or maybe it was one of our jets going to check it out. I don't know. But boy, we had a real low flyover here, and that was really strange. Because, you know, we do have, you know, a military Air Force thing here in our state, in a weapons place and all that. But I thought, well, if they wanted to hurry and get there to St. Louis, they would have been high up. The plane would have been. They'd been up there flying, you know, their jet. I just can't understand why we would have such a low flyover here. But anyway, that's it. That's all I had to say about that, because I don't know if it was connected, you know, so don't know if it was that thing or if it was a jet zooming by.
Well, I would highly suggest to people to get a non-ring or non-nest camera. I mean, if you don't care that they are going to have facial recognition, then get one. But you can get regular cameras that have a 24-hour cycle, and if something like this happens, you can kind of trigger it.
That's what I decided.
Because, man, you could have went back into an exact minute and you could have saw. I would rather, I'm going to put a camera towards the sky. I've got cameras all over my house, and, you know, for obvious reasons. And the cameras are all facing down. I was thinking, gosh, I need to have one facing up, even if it's crappy quality, just to catch this, because I've seen so many things in the last 6 months, and then even just in the last 2 months, I was there to see 2 come into the atmosphere and burn up. And if I saw 2, that doesn't mean I'm special. That means there's a lot coming in.
There's a lot. And then the other thing I wanted to say was they are listening to us on our cell phones, because I was talking to my husband and I mentioned something about my grandma. She's born in 1889. And I said there was a woman way back in the day. Her name was Mae West. And she was like a really big, full-figured woman, right? And she would, carry on ridiculous. And I said, I used to, now that I think about it, I get a kick out of it because Grandma was so religious, but she just got a kick out of Mae West, right? And she's probably in her 80s and still going on, or 70s or whatever.
70 going on 29, right?
Yeah. So anyway, this is like many, many years ago. She's done passed on a long time ago. Guess what was on my YouTube the very next day? A picture of Mae West. And this has happened more than once. And I've even called him at work and said, do you remember when we were talking about blah, blah, blah last night? I turned on my YouTube to check out what's going on today. Bam, there it is. And it's stuff that, just normally isn't brought up. And I said, they are listening through my cell phone. They're listening to us. Because this has happened like 3 big times that there's no way that it could have been a coincidence. So I told Dex, if we have to talk about something private, we do it where there's no TVs, no cell phone. We'll go out in the garage. And then one last thing, I loved the call about all the, the earthquake Mount Rainier that CJ did. And I just want to say I had heard about, they found a microorganism. This has been quite a while back. He probably already knows about this. But a microorganism that they found in Yellowstone doing samples of the water. That microorganism is only found in the Pacific Ocean. And that was what is such a big deal, how this all goes under there. But I think it's going to be like a domino effect. And usually what happens when there's a big, big earthquake, it triggers the volcanoes. And so I kind of think that, when that all happens, it's going to trigger them. And the New Madrid fault line, they've also talked about finding another more ancient fault line that they say is even more dangerous than the New Madrid, that goes from Lake Michigan all the way down to Indiana, through Indiana, right around Indiana and Illinois, all the way down. And they said that it's strong enough, it's big enough to split the country in 2. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And that I saw that on a special, with the USGS people or whatever. I don't even remember now what channel it was on. It was on TV. But anyway, that's all I had to say tonight. Just that they're listening to us, and who knows what they're using info for. And I don't want anybody knowing my medical information, because I'm just one of those people that believe we have an unsustainable population, and Lord only knows what they're going to do to make sure it's sustainable. So there you go.
Well, it's kind of like
it.
Money is the key to being on, their ticket to ride. It's not like, we'll decide on moral and how good a person is to let them not be affected by population control. We'll decide by the amount of money they have. So pretty messed up.
That, and if you're sick, they have actuaries now in every state. They're not medically trained, but if there's too much money, what they do is figure out whether you're worth saving or not. And the hospice guy here They had a big thing on the radio. I listened to all of it, and they were telling people it's too much of a burden on the insurance companies, money-wise, too much of a burden on the insurance companies and on families. What's 6 months or a year going to make any difference? So they've got a hospice house where they're telling people, they're just sending people there. Well, my mother-in-law, I'm so glad we didn't listen to that idiot, because my mother-in-law was given 3 months to a year. She had bone cancer, and she went and got an experimental treatment, and she literally went into full remission for 6 long years. So it's pretty bad, and that was put in under Obama, the actuary thing, where every state has an actuary. I don't know if it's still going on now or not, but it's, it makes me wonder if it'll be the disabled, the ones that they don't feel are carrying their weight, that will be the ones. And my mother's doctor probably 30 years ago predicted all this, and he was a physician, and he said the day will come when the elderly, the sick, will be considered useless. And now they decide whether we get our health care or we don't, or treatment or not. So I don't know. I think things are weird. And you're right. They're weird all over the world. It's like things have just gone crazy.
Well, JF, I agree with you on that one. And I unfortunately, I think that there's not, as far as getting older, I think that's the least concerning part. I think that it's concerning to me that they don't care about the middle age, the young kids,
or anybody.
Everybody is dispensable to them.
Everybody.
Yep.
You got it. You 100% right on, because we're being bamboozled here. Everybody is. Everyone. So.
Well, it was such a
anyway,
pleasure to have.
I love y'all.
Pleasure to have you call in, JF, and I would love to have you call in again. Okay.
Okay. I love all of you. I love you, and God bless all of you. And for those that don't believe, then good vibes. Okay.
I love it. That's like
everybody
the first time somebody said that. So I love the inclusive of everybody. Well, you have a wonderful night, JF.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I respect everybody. Everybody's opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. And, we can all be in peace and we can learn. I've learned a lot of stuff from people on here. I never believed in it, and I checked it out. So I'm educating myself. So people here help you. So anyway, this is the best place to come in the whole world. So anyway, you guys take care, and God bless you and your family and all of the Foogle family. I love y'all. Have a good night.
We love you too. All right. Bye, JF.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless. That was very sweet. By the way, Vaneki, I don't normally do that, but Vaneki Potassio V-Rocks Pit, you've been here almost every night forever. So I didn't even know you had a channel, Vaneki. Love Mob, we've got 2 Love Mobs tonight. Vaneki Potassio V-Rocks Pit. I think the only thing I've ever said about that was you might want to think of something easy to remember, but other than that, I think it's an awesome name. Make sure to go love Vaneki Potassio V-Rocks Pit. You see it on the screen. We love Mob, any Foogle family member. And then the other Love Mob was, let's see here. I think it's on 2 pages back. 11 pagan, 1 word, and then space 11, which she's already at 193, which is absolutely awesome. You guys are all amazing. I'm going to come to her. Dex, we've had a couple callers tonight that were just absolutely amazing. Also, Dex, we're working on several projects. You want to tell them about, any one of those?
Hey, Adam. Yeah, the colors were great. Especially, we keep hearing these confirmations around the people that have these experiences where the phones are listening to them or the technology is listening to them. That's really, really scary, and something that we've talked about before, but we're seeing confirmation, not just from people that have had the experience, but from the bugs in the actual products or the evidence in the actual product showing that off. So, we've got a lot of great projects working on. Some stuff we're talking about with the fam, some things we're talking about with creators, and some things we're talking about with businesses, as well as some content stuff that we're working on to help improve and bring about more content, more information that we can share with everybody, and help find ways to get the information that everyone else has, and help disseminate that out. So lots of good things coming. Adam, anything you want to add to that?
Just to, hopefully soon, again, if you guys do, you guys know I straight up hate talking about it, but at this point we actually do need to expand. We need to bring more people on. We need to turn this into something bigger. Also, I am genuinely worried about the channel with all the changes coming to this platform. So if you guys do want to help, we might need it. Bigger channels like Crowder and all these guys, they've got half Asian lawyer, blah, blah, blah. We don't have that. So if you guys can help us, you guys know, if you've been watching me for 2 years, I never ask. But at this point, it's kind of hard not to. I feel like we are at the precipice of all getting knocked off of this. And if that happens, it happens. Some of you guys already know. I'm actually, I've already started kind of a part-time job just in case. But on top of that, it's just been really rough. People, there was a lot of attacks towards me that were completely unjustified, and it hurt. On top of that, with all the other stuff that's going on behind the scenes, we get put in the expanded category of advertising. So we might get an advertisement, but it's like a T-Man advertisement for the rally that they pay a fraction of a penny CPM on because it's high risk. So if you guys do want to help, there's some options after the video. I'm going to be trying to put more stuff on to Patreon as well, which I never wanted to do any of that because I've hated doing it since the beginning. But we want to either grow or be able to at least sustain what we have now. Like, it's scary to think about that we might actually need a lawyer to stay on the platform. That's crazy scary. And I've always been transparent with you guys. If we do any kind of affiliate stuff, we let you guys know that that's going towards our channel, myself, or anybody that helps. So thank you guys. I appreciate it, each and every one of you. Dex, love you, brother. Thank you for doing all the screening. Yeah. Now,
thank you.
It is officially time for me to make a fool out of myself. If you've never been here for a shoutro, then you're in for it. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. By the way, Mark Sketch, also the Pope did this many atrocities during the military occupation of Argentina. Says, Marf, try the Fascinations Metal Earth Apollo CSM and LSM kit on Amazon. Looks cool and can be built easily and cheaper than Lego. Would look cool on set. Type Girl says, always willing to help. Your hard work is appreciated. Oh, well, thank you, Type Girl. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, seriously, you guys are all awesome. Mark Sketch, yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you. Much love. Now it's time for the shoutro. Ba-doo-doo. by Benko. Sorry if I blew your ears off right there. Hey, Alice Crowley, thank you for being here. Anita Torres, I couldn't do it without you. And Jules44, I appreciate it. Rick Potter, couldn't do it without you. Fondage, Ad, Mary Heimlich. Heimlich, The Maneuver, Juanita Otis, CJ Blaze, never would remove her. Charlie Branna, never get a duo. Mr. Fabo Lee, Amy Strunk, and Cyber Kinko. Richard Borba, and the rest of Mr. Ann Brown's Men Plinkos. Jojo, I like for me. Evelyn, OOB, James Shaw, and Regina Royal. I just wanna go down and spoil Mandy Chalinsky and One Hip Chick. L. Michelle Smith and It's Up to It. Cindy Hockett chilling in my pocket. Heidi Gregorio, do what you do, yo. Hey, Lisa R. Hall and Ann Culver. Rose, Vanessa, and the rest of y'all. Sitting up there like Trinity, red pill or blue pill. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. I love the rest of you. I love the rest of you. I love the rest of you. Got the Linda Moses with the Tina. Crazy World and the OG Johnny B. Tribe of One with the 11 Pagan 1-1. Gotta do it like the Mama Atomic, it's atomic, and now we do it all the rest. Got the gin and tonic with the Suzy Q and the Taz there. And gotta stare like the Casimir Sever. Got it the Shana, Sada Nevada, tattoos by Woody, going studi, right by the Glenda Snight on the booty. Final Watchy, Emma Reeves, Rich Potter, and Christopher Reeves. Gotta bring it back with the C's, gotta get the Lisa Marie. Hey, it's Renee Thomas. Great show. Check out her channel. Hey, it's been a long day. I'm a bit tired. So I say, hey, thank you, James Kessler. Thank you, James Kessler, for kicking it, for bringing it. Hey, the hearing aid and cat. What do you say with the Todd collection? Say with the Linda Kirby and the Clarence Daniels. I just gotta say. Serafina, gotta bring it down. Gotta go all the way down. Jared Summerson, never gonna take a Summerson. Never gonna fall down that right road. Gotta go down like Linda Moses. Gonna bring it right back on in time. Better still 100, gotta see it now. It'll change in a minute, but I bring Lexi with Dex and Neil Nelson bring. It's gonna skate like Susan Big. Gonna do it all, and yes, we do it big. Not a small stone in our left unturned. Got a wide eye blind mom on the next turn. Got Lisa and Alexi with Dex chicken with the kicking in the deep crazy Mexican. Anita Torres and gotta bring it right back. It's gotta be there. Hey, Kathy Piana, I appreciate you more than anything in this world. Hey, gotta say, it's all about William McKay. I see J. Blaze, Shauna May, Jane Shaw. Bring it right and bring it right. Gotta say, it's all about that lovely day. Gotta say, oh, never once with I got Nick, no. Gotta know, tell those big fat dogs. Gotta hang out with Mr. Nick Stokes. Gotta go down and get right on with the mama cheddar all come. Gotta get a job on this clam mama. Gonna get a coat and I will share my beer. Hanging out with Christina and it's near. Riding on turn with to get on a beer. Beer. Pew, pew, pew. I say your name perfect because it's super easy. Over easy, you would say. Last time I checked, Amber B Subaru WRX. Lex it with Dex and the Pager Cruz. Hanging out, and now we got a pair of dudes. James Kessler got arrested. Now I'm not stressing, cause I got Sheka Cone on to do it every day. Lisa all haul when we gotta go set. With the common grand, I spend a grand just to make her happy, man. And the shepherd's voice coming through my ear with the Haley TVD. Got the NXT with the mount and the links. This is my screen name, Mr. Mia AA, with the Adam Go and the Go GK and the, maybe that was a typo, but the Jenna Marion already knows. It's a firefighter 3P Irish truthers doing what they do and they never come through. And now the wandering Foogle coming back doing everything that they did with the Michael Jerome with the E at the end and the literature stone. I got the rip curl and yes you know it's a curl. Gonna eat it right back like it's Susie Q. Got the 777 light keeper doing what he do. I can't admit, I never admit. Gonna go gun hold up a second and be quick. With the John French coming back round do it. Oh yes, yeah, oh yeah. Reba's time for Maz Jack Boomers. Gotta stay as long, gotta go as they go. Dave Noonan next class. Got the old rider going like Rosencrantz. Yes, and now they gotta do it dance. But not them old, gotta wait, cause you gotta be first. Out of pants, out of mind. Tiffany Rice, Terry Betts, now I gotta make up my mind. It will change in a minute, just like it did at Denise Hendricks and the Hendricks, and I gotta do it back. Who flung dung, coming back around dung, and now we talking about elephant dung up in these gin like a tonic. Coming right back now, MG Toe, forever smoking chronic with the mo, and the Amy strunk like it's stunk, and now gotta smoke with the mo, now you got the skunk with the Ashley Marshall and the Blondie 93 toe. Oh no, yo, it's all about the oh yo low. Yes, I missed you, I miss you, Missy Wheeler. Come back now, I might just steal her. Jay Merritt and the Mad Jack. It's like a magic jack. Magic Jack, do you even remember that? Used to plug it into your computer for free internet. I think it was actually free phones, actually. Do you guys remember Magic Jack? You could call it anywhere. And if you send in $19.99, you'll get 2 for the price of 1. Just pay for 2 and we'll actually give you 2. That's the My Pillow way. Do what you do best. Now you gotta get it off for your chest. Big bugs gonna give us big hugs. Now we got to go. If I could, I would be with that Carol Reed. She would be my royal Virginia Royalstein. Like my never-ending Rose Vanessa. With my Mad Max, what the waggle. Or maybe it's WWG1WGA. Where we go one, we go all. With that Rebo Snarfle and that Glenda Snyder that he found, and that Shelley Jennings and that West Oats that came round, with that Linda W that we've all found, and that Sherry Circle that just sat said wow. Cindy Christie, I'm on. Got to be everything. Got to see. Got to be. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, you can go to marfooglenews.com and check out any of the articles that we read here today, including all of the tweets, and we are going to add the information from Rip Curl. I wish I could let you come back, Panhandle Prepper. It would be so proper. Now we're on ya, London Mary Sharp, Tiffany Rice, Shauna May, and Miss Anita Torres. Everyone wants to say Natalie Pearson, why are you here? Someone told me Letitia stole some 702 Chuck from me. I ran right down that street, and I said, Jenna Mary, will you marry my mom? That's right. Haley to be decided. I'm so excited. Don't even fight it. Bring it right back, and now you light the light of the room. Alright, you ride right out the room. And I must say, hey,
I've got to bring the love that they did. Make sure to check out that 11 Peggy 11. Sounds like her channel, so much fun. And if there was one more to see, it would be that Debbie. Borba equal the scorer.
I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you for coming every single night. 2,500 people. Thank you. God bless you all. Let me introduce myself. They said the kid doesn't give up. He said, hey, eyes up. My eyes are up here, buddy. My eyes are up here, my eyes are up here. Quit looking at my man boobs. I said, wow, oh wow, how disrespectful. Like Kappa Chow. I'll cap it, y'all. In the capital. My Randy Newman once told me something. It was something I couldn't remember. I think it was drink tea. Or maybe it was, don't hang out with 4 Siamese for me. No, I don't think it was it. He said, push that button and you will grow. And I didn't. I shrunk. But that's probably because I had too much funk for Amy Strunk. Strunk? What kind of name is that? What kind of name is that? They've got a bathroom. The JF right down the street. And he's gonna kick you with me. That Linda Caswell the spaz. And everybody knows. We've got that Sky River dropping down, and now it's November 12th. Oh wait, and now it's the 13th, and now it's Jenna Mary O's birthday record that gotta bring them right back all over, yeah. Oh. King night on. Gotta bring back an high on my TV. So skeevy, gotta bring it back like a weavy. On my head with TV. Marfoogle TV. I admit, even for me, that one was weird. By the way, check out Dex's channel over at DexJ. Make sure to love mob all of the love mobs tonight. You know what? I just remembered. It was Wicked that was my favorite. That's right. Dex J, you still up?
with my Tiffany Rice all over the niceness. Now we don't give it, we got to kick it with the Shauna May and the rest of the living. And the man did Bronson and Barefoot Last coming right back, and you know we full of class. Alright, I gotta go kick it with the Jane Benny and with the Letitia Stowe. Gotta bring it right back, gotta bring it, no. Got my homie with my Rip Curl. Gotta bring it back with the girl and the phone sign meets for me. Gotta see what do we do with that CJ Blaze and then with that E in the YouTube channel and that UCC with the hot fire emojis all over the place. Mary Sharp with the Jules 44 doing what he does with the marshmallow voice. JoJo, I like me for me with the Rebo, Snarful, and the Foley. Nick Stokes and the one hip chick. Linda W, kicking it with the Foogle, bringing it right back. Got that May, giving it right back. Brian Alter, Monday Chalinsky. I gotta bring it right back. With the Mark sketch, get it right back. With the J Mary and the Shauna May. Got the Crystal Pool and the Chardonnay. Hey James Hessler, bring it right back, you know a Hessler. Got the tiny crazy world, got that MG toe forever. I'm gonna go kick it with the Shauna May. Gonna go hang out with that Lay, bring it back and now stay with the homies and the Adama. Bring it right back with the tongue guide. I'm out to bring it now, I'm fried. Like an egg and the recon counter, ripping the decks as up in the cola. I'm about to bring hella fans with the John Nelson and the LOLO, man. It's all about the Nelson with the Jane Benabinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gonna kick it with all my friends. Bring it right back. Wanna hip chick, bring the ends. Pan, elbow, pepper. Gonna get up on the muffle. JoJo, I like me, folk me. Gonna bring that Rose or Nessa. Y'all mom, y'all ma'am. Doesn't really matter, don't give a damn. Cause these and we're gonna bring it harder than everybody really wanna sing it. With that Dex Day, got a much love and a God bless to you all. Dolly B. Doll. With the one sketch. Bring it right back, now he's got. Oh yes, literally with the last name like that. Hopefully he ain't a thief. But it would be cool if he was an artist and the in needed sharpness. Who's gonna give him much respect? Cause he knows how to sketch. Recon Delta anytime. Give me right back, and now he's fine. Doesn't really matter cause he knows his mind. Jules 44 and the big bug's mine. I'm gonna bring it with the Ryan all. I'm about to do a stand up tall. Got that.
I hope you guys all had a good night. And don't worry, I won't blow you out again. MarFoogleNews.com. I was walking down the street. I was hanging out with Darlene. Oh, no bondage with that bondage. Doesn't really matter. Got the stun me.
Hey! Oh, this is awkward. I just walked into a super large room. Echo! 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 Marfoogle News? Looks like some sort of weird set. This is super awkward, actually. I don't even know what to say. This is... The guy's got Legos? Is this a child set? So weird. Don't even know what we're doing here.
Oh yes, you know, it's time for the 104.5 of Morph, man. You know, we are listening to the Funky 5 Morph, man. Hey! And now you bring it with the, yeah. Yes, yeah, you know. Got to bring it back on down, yeah. It's a girl firestorm, you know. He be hanging out with the boys. You know. All night long, yo. Oh, that's how I, man. He brought back now. He never done it now. Hey, with the lady biker. Oh, now you don't want to change up. Alright, and about Johnson, bring it with the everybody now is not terribly hey.
Okay. Oh, all right. You know what? Bo Johnson is actually correct. It's a really bad Jamaican accent, and I don't know who I was fooling myself for months on end. I was honestly doing that forever, and you know, no one called it out. And you know what? He was completely right. I've been going to therapy 4 times a week for the accent thing, and I knew it was terrible. I knew it from the bottom of my heart. I just needed one person to tell me, and that was it. Bo Johnson, I think it was. I gotta sketch that down. He called it like it really was. Like it was epic. It was raw. It was just, it was there, you know. It just meant something. It was truly, you know, something that, you know, finally meant something. Bo Johnson, I'm gonna remember you forever. I don't know what else I could do for you. Like, what do you do for somebody who completely changes your life? Honestly, I don't know if I can continue the show anymore, knowing that people know it's a terrible accent. I'll just leave it to the professionals. Yeah, probably good.
Not kidding, yeah. Just kidding, I go come back, yeah, yeah, man.
Attention. I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the 4th dimension. Trapeze high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators.
Yeah, yes, yeah, man.
I like me for me.
And my bad accent.
I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me.
And my bad accent.
I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy. Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me.
Oh yeah, man.
I like me for me.
just as good as the next mon. Mon. Yeah.
Over here, you know how that shit feels. You think it's out of space, but I know that it is real. Sipping Tapico, La Coca Puerto Rico. Lick it dance waterfall, anywhere that we go. I am looking for attention. I don't need the extra tension.
You know, someone said, blah, 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 in the beginning, the intros are just dumb. Well, you know what? They're fun. And if I stop not liking this, then what is the point in the first place?
I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me. I like me for me. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. 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 I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. I like me for me.
Just so you know, you can change the world.
I like me for me.
You are all my family.
I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me. I like me for me. Gotta prove it to myself. I like nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself. I like nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself. I like nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself. I like me for me.
All right, now, you guys have a good night now. You know, of course. Have a good night. Coming back tomorrow. Tina, crazy world. Come back tomorrow. Hey, James Kessler, hanging out with your Hessler, and I wouldn't heckle ya if you were James Kessler all over again. Hey, Superman Sweden, thank you for coming 2 days in a row, man. Hey, Barefoot Lass, thanks for coming to class. Hey, Gale Firestorm, nobody's like you, and I must have warned Mike W. I will see you every day. We just practice doing this every single night, cause it's really fun and it's gotta make my night. If it's gonna make yours, Tiffany, Rico, or Rice, it doesn't matter if I read it from the side and eyes up with the OG, Johnny B, Mary Sharp, and the Florentine. Florentina coming back, around and going back. Everybody really wanna see it now. Hey, Jay slash Astina going back. ASM Marchetti and I'm bringing room. Gotta go back now and do it now. Got a natural down on a million. But I think gonna make things straight away. Jay, have a good night and you wanna say, Kevin Chat, gotta do it now. Gotta bring it right around. Tina, crazy, Jenna Mary on with the wall. Yours, Mike Davis. Thank you for coming, and Rebel Snarfle, thank you for everything that you do, and Big Bugs, thank you. Big Bugs, and I gotta be right. Full Siamese for me, don't night. Hey, go, gotta see, got good night. Van Hamill, Rebel, got a manager, let's see. Bring it back with my sleep. Got my Susan B. Or Jackson and Megan, gotta see it after haters. This song, your pizza, alright? Linda White. And you're so nice. Thank you so much, Tiffany Rice. Foogle, I'm gonna kick around now. Gotta bring it with the red on Delta.
I'm gonna go back and I know it now. Now Marfoogle quietly dying. No lying, gotta bring back now. It's so satisfying. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarfoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is waiting for you.